I was looking at notes. What's up, boys?
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
We got a special guest today, Charlie Harris in the house.
Is it Harris? Could not remember your last name. Harris. Got it.
Harris, yeah. Charlie, get it out there. Say your first words.
My name's Charles Harris.
I love it. That's sweet.
I need your
Sweet.
social and your bank info.
Yeah.
So serious.
Yeah, well, so like we had a party, the Patreon party, and Charlie came. Was pretty sweet. I mean, what'd you think about the party? I thought it was pretty good.
Very low key.
Yeah, low key. Like not that many people showed up, but it was.
I don't know.
fun.
I think I made a new best friend,
Who's that?
Matt Norvell. I had so much fun with him and his kid. Nice.
But I mean, it was perfect day. It was perfect weather. We had the little shooting competition.
The shooting competition was tight.
Oh,
It was tight. In the
I thought
dark.
Charlie. Yeah, I thought
I
Charlie's
thought
won
I
it.
won, but apparently I didn't.
Lauren beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
Lauren-
your wife, his wife. She's
Yeah,
a good
shot.
Lauren. She's
Yeah,
a
good
good
shot.
shot. In the dark. She couldn't
the
see
dark.
it. Well, I mean, we all shot in the dark.
Yeah, but when we shot, you couldn't see anything. You were guessing.
Oh, that's just because you weren't aiming at
Mine
it.
was
You were
pitch black
guessing.
too, bro.
I know.
You were guessing.
Also, I made a boo boo on the way home.
Did you run over something?
No.
You shit yourself?
Just didn't go home.
oh yeah,
Oh,
you
you
went
went
to
to
the
the
movies.
movies.
Yeah, I saw your picture.
That's a bad move.
You stayed for a while?
Oh, yeah.
You know what's funny? I brought up like champagne, and he was like, "Yeah."
He stormed out like a baby.
I'm so glad we didn't. Yeah, because we called
I
him.
missed that.
so
We
mad.
did a show that night.
did
It was
miss
pretty
that.
fun.
Yeah.
But after you guys left, we started calling him names, and then he left.
Yeah, he got mad.
I mean, a man can only take what a man can take.
You just wanted to get
I
him.
know I'd be left alone. I can drink a million beers and play the jukebox.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Damn, that's
you
pretty
relax,
awesome.
sweetheart.
It's actually pretty fun.
And then I woke up and went, oh, crap, I have like stuff to do today.
How late were you at the moose till?
I'm pretty sure I shut it down. I don't think I remember.
Wow.
That's disgusting.
Wow.
But at least you live like 2 minutes away, though.
Not even.
With 30 seconds.
What's the closest bar to you, Charlie?
Hole in the wall.
Yeah, hole in the wall's tight
Oh,
too.
that's right.
Yeah, there's hole in the wall, and then there's
Toots.
last drop, and then there's toots.
That's not bad at all.
And there's a moose there,
And
too.
there's a moose
but that
on the
moose
shit,
is...
yeah.
That moose
Poo-poo.
is more highfalutin than our moose.
No, have you been in there?
What I'm saying is they don't like new people in there at all.
Your car won't. My car won't even work on that one. You have to ring the doorbell, and
Dude,
they
my
treat you
car
like a
worked
criminal.
in St. Louis.
Doesn't even work
It
there.
doesn't
I
work in
was
Hollywood.
so pumped. And they had to buzz you in like you had to get buzzed in to swipe, and they had to buzz you in. It sounded like like prison. Sorry.
I've often asked why that one has not gotten better, and
don't want you in there.
everyone says that there's some money manipulation going on. Like
course.
it's a dump in there, but
You don't think there's a little bit going on at the...
there's a little bit, but at least they put most of the money back into it. Like that McCaysville Moose is nice. It's one of the nicest mooses there is.
The one in Front Royal, Virginia,
They have a
is by
room.
far the best one I've ever been to.
We're gonna
The
go
Front
to one
Royal,
Titanic.
Virginia? Really? Do they
Every
have
time
a,
I
do
go
they have
out
a,
of
hold
town-
on, do they have a Fortnite room for little kids to go in while the daddy drinks?
They did have a room, and it was not a glass cubicle. It was like down a hallway. Like go away room.
Can't see them.
And
Go away.
their Queen of Hearts were they didn't give away cash and stuff. They gave away guns.
That's
and
cool.
every card had a gun on it.
That's ridiculous.
Are you a Moose member, Charlie?
No, I'm not a moose
You should
member.
consider it. It's a good
I
organization.
tried. So
I'll be your sponsor.
My great grandmother died, and we were having the viewing at the Moose Lodge in Mechanicsville. And
That big room on the left, yeah.
yeah,
the
but their
social hall.
door, they're so protective about their door. I'm trying and I'm
We are
knocking
so
on it,
protective.
and they gave me a hard time because I was trying to get in there. I'm knocking on the wrong door. So
Oh my god.
I never.
For my grandmother.
There are a couple assholes in that.
I open that
for
door
sure.
for anyone and let them in, unless it says like health department or something. They're not allowed in. No government officials.
Yeah,
They used to try to come in there during
I,
COVID.
I
It
used
was
to
annoying.
sneak in behind like one of them until I got a card, but it's like $60.
$60 a year.
it's good
It pays for
money.
itself in a weekend,
It
dude.
does, yeah.
Dude,
I
everything's
get
so
like
cheap.
emails all the time from them, like
Moose charities.
Yes,
Yeah.
like,
VIP Moose
Head,
stuff.
Moose
bro.
Heart.
or I can get my AARP card now.
Well, it's not a really a young man's thing, but it is. Yeah, it's turned
Ours
into one.
is.
Ours is, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the party was fun.
Moving
Party
on.
was fun.
What else you got,
Because
Mikey?
we wanted to actually talk to Charlie here.
Okay.
Since he's here, we're talking about the movies.
Well, we had to do a party recap.
True.
If you missed it, come out next year, guys. Like, stop being
Yeah,
so
He's
weird.
the most chill dude I think I've ever met in my life.
Yeah,
and I've
he's-
only met him like 3 times.
he asked me, like, there was literally 4 coolers, He's like, "Can I grab a beer? I only brought 6." I was like, "Yeah."
I only brought 6 in there.
You remember asking me that?
And they go,
I was like, "Yeah, of course. There's like 3 coolers here."
I
more
mean,
kids
It
having
honestly,
fun.
it was kind of like a family.
was
a family
fun, yeah.
day. It
I
was
wish my
fun.
oldest son would have been able to make
I
it.
know.
Pink eyes, man.
Yeah, that sucks, but whatever. Yeah.
But he would have
Next
had a
time.
blast.
Yeah, no, it's cool because I wasn't sure if I wanted kids to be there, but like, so the adults could actually hang out. But like, they were all old enough to kind of like, you're still hanging
doing
out.
their own thing.
Yeah, dude, did you hear about Felix's leg?
No.
What happened?
Oh, with the running
so
over.
freaking lucky, unreal. So
Well, I almost killed him with a frisbee.
that was
Twice.
ridiculous. I mean, he chucks these like disc golf frisbees that are like heavy duty. He chucks one and it goes near Felix, and Felix like goes down, and we're like, "Wow, that was a close call.
Yeah.
Let's not do that again." Brent right away throws
There's no
one.
way it's gonna go right out of.
That was
That was
ridiculous.
closer than the
Yeah.
last one,
dude.
I was half hot.
Yeah,
I
well,
know you-
understandably.
I know, and I felt terrible. So I was trying to throw it to Bane.
I know you weren't trying to
If it would have hit him, it would have been.
But
it would
like
have been
subconsciously, dude, when it's
catastrophic.
like
It
during
would have catastrophic. It would suck.
during something like that, subconsciously, like you're kind of thinking of that way because you're thinking so
You
much
can't
about
help it.
not.
My older brother is the king of this. If there's a kid or anyone around and he's kicking or throwing a ball, it will hit them.
Elias is taking him down.
No, Matt.
Oh, you're
The
your younger
worst.
brother.
If he's throwing a frisbee, it's hitting a kid in the face. They might be way over there,
that's
or whatever. He
fucking
just can't
hilarious.
help it. You know, I don't know. I've seen it my whole life.
But anyways,
so.
leg.
Oh yeah, so Felix was out there and he went. He was in the car riding passenger, the little blue car, that mutual car.
Yeah.
With Lindsay's little girl, Piper. And she's driving him around in a circle over and over and over and over and over, having a blast. It was adorable. 2 little bald heads going around. So he's like, "I'm gonna get out," and he gets out. Luckily, she like doesn't press the gas. I was like, "Oh, she's really smart." And then he gets out, and then her son, Gavin, tries to get in, and Felix goes, "No, hold on, I want back in."
Right.
He gets like shoved down to the ground. Gavin gets in, and she takes off while he's still down there, and they're literally like on his leg. That's when we talked about that tid fib. What's it called?
I'm starting to remember the tid fib when you break
Tid
your tid
fib?
fib.
Yeah, I never heard that in my
Well,
life.
Tibia fibia. It's like a double
You
break of
never
your
heard-
lower
You have
leg.
2 bones in your leg, a big one and a not so big one.
Yeah. So that's what it looked like because it was literally spinning wheels on his shin.
Oh, the
going
plastic
up
wheel
towards
was
the
like
knee.
burning out on
Yeah,
his.
and he's trying to get up. And like Lindsay's like, "Stop!" And I'm like running over there, and I literally like tossed this battery-powered car to the side, and I just grab him up, and he was
that's
fine.
dramatic.
I started squeezing his leg everywhere to kind of feel if
That was
pain.
how y'all started talking
It was
about
fine,
it.
Babies
but
are made of rubber.
that brings
though.
up a-
That's like
Yeah, their bones bend and stuff.
That brings up a good story because your leg was.
Yeah.
We talked to you about it afterwards, and you were.
Yeah, well, as soon as I started hearing who had a tid fib,
Yeah.
it's traumatic. I've it's like what Alex Smith did to his leg. When
You did that.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh my
yeah.
Was it a compound? Did it come through?
So mine, luckily, was not a compound. It did like it was snapped over like that, but the bone never broke the skin. Because I had a motocross boot on.
That's why.
I had a motocross boot, and so it didn't actually break through the skin, but it was.
And you had a little piece missing, right? That came out.
No, it was
Not
never
like out of your skin,
It was
but-
never out of skin on the X-ray. So if you imagine taking a stick and breaking it across a tree,
Yeah.
and it breaks into 2 pieces, but there's also a third piece that's like basically like splatter, basically. So now the stick's not as long now. So I had they called it bone loss. So
Literally.
one of my legs is now shorter than the other one. And
It's crazy. He showed us too. He stood on one.
Do you have a little bit of
Like an inch?
gait problem or like?
Yeah, like it messes with my head. It's fucked up.
You're gonna. Oh
There's a
man.
little pimple.
Oh, you're gonna need
cuss
like a
on
hip
this?
replacement.
Yes,
like,
you can say whatever you want.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Within reason.
Dude, we were talking about transvestites last week. It's fine.
Yes, we were.
So, anyways, which they're cool. We're all cool with them.
But then I was
We weren't
telling
talking
you
about
that my doctor-
Well, we weren't talking about transvestites. We're talking about transgender. It's different, but
You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. But anyways, your doctor.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So like the best orthopedic surgeon, like a renowned surgeon, he's a dwarf up at Johns Hopkins.
Really?
What?
Yeah, he's a
Zero
dwarf.
idea.
what are you sitting there with them tiny hands, bro?
His name is Dr. Ain. He's been on like Oprah. He's been on like
Oh
all the
my
big shows and
gosh.
stuff.
So he had his tiny little hands in your leg.
My dad met him. He thought he was changing the sheets. It was messed up, kind of.
Yeah.
He thought he worked like He's the best surgeon. He's like one of the best surgeons
That's
in
amazing.
the world.
That
Like,
dude made it
his
work.
name,
Dr. what?
Dr. Michael Ain.
Michael Ain.
Found him?
Found him.
Yeah, he's one of the best
You have a
orthopedic.
goatee? A beard, anything.
Is he Indian?
No, he's white. He's a dwarf. But he specializes in dwarf surgery because when you're a dwarf, they gotta
Different
give
legs.
you.
Yeah.
They gotta give you a tip, dude. They literally they gotta snap
break
because
your legs.
It's bowed, right?
because they
adorable.
grow bowed. Yeah, so they gotta snap them, and he's the best at it. He snaps their legs and then puts them back.
I wonder while he's doing surgery if it
The guy
goes.
is big.
No,
When he touches
he
the
has a
side.
stool, dude. He has a stool.
That is big brain energy.
Oh yeah, he's way
He's a
smart.
little
That's
dumb,
not
man.
fair.
Whatever.
Head's so big. He's got like
dude,
so much brains in
because
there.
I was in
Like, it
Petersburg,
went away.
Virginia. I took an ambulance ride to have him work on my leg.
That is, I've been down that track. It's a good track. But I can see.
Okay,
wrecking.
no one can see any of this.
I can.
Look it up. Sometimes we have like.
Oh yeah, give the
on
name.
other
Give the name
room.
again, one more time.
Michael Ain, A-I-N.
I was at a wedding recently, and one of the guys that worked in his office knew exactly who he was, but he said he just recently retired. So
Oh shit.
Let's get him on the
Do they-
podcast.
Let's get him on the pod. He's free now.
Instead of 30 and 55, do they get like 20 and 45?
Yeah. What's that mean?
Yeah, I don't
That's
get
just a
it.
shorter time span.
Of what?
Never mind. Never mind. I thought it was funny.
it was funny. He's one of the best in
Thanks,
the world.
Charlie.
I'm not gonna leave you hanging. Like
Yeah.
Just because you had an injury too that I wanted.
did.
Because we I don't think we ever talked about the call because a buddy of mine, his son broke it, and there apparently you could do either what you did with a plate on the
Yeah.
collarbone, or you can just hope that it goes back together, which is gonna be so
So-
weak.
So my brother just broke his collarbone. One break, like 5 weeks ago.
Jesus.
Oh my
Yeah, he
God.
did. He's trying
What was
to
he
golf.
doing?
He was golfing.
No, he's trying to go golfing this weekend. and he
Oh,
like can't
okay.
swing a club yet.
Oh jeez.
He probably don't want me to tell you what he's really doing, but
Tell us. Tell
On the
us.
boat?
Drunk
No,
again?
he wasn't drunk. Not at all. Actually, he
the golf cart.
No, he wrecked his scooter. But he was riding around like messing with his brother-in-law's dogs, and they
Like he was on
somehow
a
got in
razor
front of him.
scooter.
No, he has like a little scooter that goes like 50 miles an hour, like a little,
wow.
That's
okay.
ridiculous.
you know, like a little scooter you see on the road.
Like the ones in the
50?
city that you can rent
Just
and drive
50.
around.
Yeah.
No one needs
like-
that.
No, you ride them on the roads.
I don't know if they go 50 though, but they go about 20.
You never seen a guy
25.
like riding a scooter on the roads?
Dude, I've been. If
I
you go
saw
like
him yesterday by Mike's office,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. Like you sit on like this and go like a Vespa.
Oh.
Like a Vespa.
Well, Vespa's complete.
like when you go in the city, they have the.
Moped.
No, moped is a thing that has
It's like a Vespa.
you pedal and then it kickstarts the engine.
No.
No.
Mopeds,
That's just an
a
electric
little
bicycle.
Honda moped.
Yeah, mopeds. I
mopeds
guess.
have pedals.
No.
I think he is right. Mopeds.
Mopeds have pedals.
Well, it says
No,
ped.
bro.
It says
Motorized.
ped.
They say it for
Motorized
motorized
pedal.
pedals.
Yeah.
Moped.
Yep,
Yeah,
he's
mopeds
right.
have
but-
pedals.
It's like a Vespa, which is a scooter, everybody, and it's a Yamaha. I think he's got a Yamaha. Anyway, he crashed.
Dude, if Dr. Ain rode a Vespa, that'd be adorable.
like in Italy, everyone rides scooters. Yeah. So anyway, he he just the front end dipped a little bit and his kickstand caught or something and just slammed on the ground and he broke his collarbone.
So does he get a plate?
Nope, one spot. Those healed back together. So what I
I
did,
know, but
I was flying through the air,
Shattered.
and I shattered it in seven pieces, and one of them was down. One of them was down the back of my neck, very close to like my spinal cord, and it was like a razor sharp,
yeah.
piece of bone. So that was why I had to have it back, put back together with a plate, because there's no saving that,
Yeah, the one kid I was talking about, he's so young that they're like worried because he's still growing. So it might just fuse back together and be okay. But Maylene?
That's the craziest part about how bones heal. I think we talked about this
Skeleton walking down
before,
the
but
steps.
no, all doctors do is put it in the right spot. Your body sends out the little feelers, and then your bones grow back together somehow. Like
Dude, I thought it was the most insane thing when Aubrey broke her wrist last year.
That was
it was
disgusting.
way out of place, right? So they casted it up and it didn't heal correctly. Well, Lauren thinks that the cast was not correct. So it was deformed. It still stuck out to the left.
Yeah.
We went to Children's and the doctor was like, hey, because of her age, because she hasn't hit puberty yet, it will fix itself.
Wow.
The way that whatever you want to call it, the way God made our bodies. If you're a kid before you hit puberty, your body will actually remold itself. And her wrist straightened itself out over about 6 months.
Wow.
It went from sticking out and slowly just straightened itself out.
That's rare
cool.
that a doctor actually gave you the right information.
And he actually,
You know what I mean? Like instead of saying we got to operate, we got to break this kid's
well,
arm.
he was real big on like, listen, we don't want to operate on kids if we don't have to. Now he did say if she had already hit puberty, apparently something different with your bones and how they grow. Okay. If you already hit puberty, then she would have needed surgery. But if you go before puberty, your body just fixes itself.
It has to do with the growth plates. Same thing with Dr. Ain. And because when I was in Petersburg, they were going to do surgery on my leg, and my dad caught the doctor like basically tripping. Like he just didn't he didn't look right. My dad said. And he asked him, why are you so nervous and like sweating and stuff? And the doctor had just ended his residency, and my dad like basically stopped him and like made a call and was able to get
That's
me.
a ballsy move. Because when you're in the hospital and doctors are giving you the pressure that they give you, and you don't know and they're saying big words and stuff, it's very hard to stop that and be like, you know what, we're out of here, because you feel like you're offending them or something.
Yeah.
So when we got to Dr. A, because of it was something to do with the growth plate, because I was only like 15. So like because the growth plate hadn't hardened, they didn't have to put like a rod in there. They just put like a cast from my toes up to like the top of my leg.
And just kind of set it and
left it there for a long time, and it regurgitated. It regrew.
You'll set it and forget it.
Yeah, and it is like what he's saying.
The way that our bodies are built, they can do amazing things. It's pretty crazy.
Well, like no one even understands. I mean, we understand what happens, but you can't like prove it. Like how bones heal. Like we know the body just figures it out.
They do just figure it out.
Want to hit him?
Brent, what do you got to say,
Such
bud?
a blanket statement. Our bodies are just.
Yeah, I'm saying something
phenomenal.
too.
All right, sorry, Brent. What do you have to add to this conversation?
Wes has surprised me.
Zero.
Wes surprised me because I told him pick up whatever food you want.
Thank you.
That's like sounds fire to you, and I'll try it. And he's brought over buffalo chicken from friggin' LEDO, and it's delicious.
Oh yeah, LEDO's never fails.
Yeah, I don't even eat pizza that much, but it's pretty delicious. You're right.
Chicken parm sub from LEDO.
Thank
Such
you.
a straight boy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we're starting a new
I cut you
segment.
off.
I thought you were going to say something like related to that.
No, sorry.
Where people that have like cool jobs and stuff. So Charlie's on here for a couple reasons. One, he's got some cool ideas that we're going to discuss about everything, conspiracies, the Earth, and then he also has a really cool job. And we were going to start calling people once in a while, or having people on that have interesting jobs that are not just your regular 9 to 5. What do you do, Charlie?
I own and operate a automobile recycling yard.
Yeah.
Do you get offended if someone calls it a junkyard?
No.
There was a guy. Do you remember Andrew's Auto Parts?
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Drew Tippett.
Drew Tippett.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, do you think your junkyard? He's like, do I sell junk?
Whoa.
Do you think I sell junk? And I was like, I thought that's what they were called. I thought they were. When you're growing up, it's like the junkyard.
I would have looked right at him and be like, "Yeah, you sell parts off junk cars."
He didn't
bro.
like. No, he
But
didn't.
it's not
really
all junk
like
cars
that.
though.
A lot of dudes get offended when
Yeah,
you say
yeah.
junkyard.
Like you don't care. It's money coming in. Like literally, people are bringing money to you.
Do you have a dog that stays in the junkyard?
No, I don't. But throughout the place where the place where my yard is, throughout its history, it's had dogs. It's had people leave dogs there. There's a Chinese guy. So
You're probably picking dogs up.
my grandfather owned it for a long time, but he sold it at one point to a Chinese guy. And the Chinese guy up and dipped in the middle of the night one time, and he left 3 German Shepherds just
Oh my god! What are you doing?
just chained up in the back. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have one of those big car
Use 'em.
crusher things where you put like a whole car in and wow?
Yeah, of
That's
course.
tight.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
You had a huge fire the other day, right? The day after the party, he sent me a picture. He's like, yeah, this was us. And it was like the news.
Yeah.
And it's like this
What
massive.
for?
Fucking hybrid batteries, man. These damn electric cars. That's what the problem is.
So I mean, what? It caught fire? Like I thought you made
I'm
a.
sitting there watching football. It's like halftime. I'm not trying to be bothered.
Yeah.
Everything my phone just starts blowing up, and I just tried to ignore it. And then people just started sending me pictures of a giant fire.
And you're like, oh my god, I gotta go.
No, I didn't go. You didn't go? No, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah, it's a fire.
No wonder you don't have to say
I don't
like.
say nothing. I don't got nothing to say.
Call 911.
Just shut up, guys. Hybrid cars, man. Please text that.
So can you say I don't want hybrid cars here? Just keep them away? Or is there enough
need
money
parts
to be
too,
made?
bro.
You just take them anyways.
It's money too.
That's
Just
blasphemous nowadays.
Yeah.
Discriminating against electric cars.
It's very. The whole business is very interesting to me. You said you have like the same people bring you cars like every week. Like you have a little industry around. Like these people are flipping cars to you, and then you flip them back or whatever.
There's people that that's what they do to. It's a big system. It's like a big family, honestly. But yeah, there are people that own tow trucks, and what they do is go buy the cars, bring them, and sell them to us.
So
So you buy cars? Like what do you pay, like per metal or is it like?
Yeah, we have a catch scale. Like we can put a tractor trailer on a scale and weigh it, so we can rollbacks pull across our scale. It's. Have you ever been to like a steel refinery?
Yeah.
I've never been to a steel refinery.
Oh yeah, where you can like take your beer cans.
I've actually never been to one either.
Like,
I don't even take cans
Are
anymore.
you involved with Charlotte Metal Scrap or whatever next to Arrow?
My dad owns that.
Okay, I thought so. You told me that. He told me that the other day. I wasn't
That's
sure.
that's
Well, Chet apparently knows him. He's
yeah,
a good dude. Yeah.
they're neighbors. Plus, he lives by me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he does. Yeah, you're really connected. Actually,
I pass his house like twice a week.
yeah, true.
like Potomac Metals and stuff. Like you can take like truckload of beer cans and get like $50 or whatever.
So you don't look at the car based off of how many parts you think are salvageable. It's only based on the weight. Because you're not selling like
if it's a good. I mean, case by case situation.
Okay,
but
so
if it's
yeah.
just average, everyday average junk,
Same.
then just put it
so
on
you're
the
not
scale.
selling like the rearview mirror.
Yeah, we have a U-Pull at Auto Parts.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, U-Pull too.
we store cars there too.
Or
And,
parts eventually.
You can there whatever's there is up for grabs. People come and you want something, you come, you get it.
That's
you buy it.
Man, it's a good man to know.
But it's we're also always,
My cars are getting older.
it was kind of a few years back. I don't have the video anymore. I was telling Jake, I got a call from Korea. The first time I'd ever gotten a call from Korea, but it was a company in Korea.
Konnichiwa.
And so
That's Japanese.
No.
there's a Hyundai dealership right up in California, and they had gotten a brand new Hyundai Palisade
Nice car.
just delivered.
Very nice.
Nice
car.
SUV,
Yeah, sick.
Brand new white leather seats. Both the brand new key transmitters sitting in it. It's inside. Oh shit!
No, you're good. You're good.
It's inside the dealership.
Yeah.
They were like, "We need you to come get it and take it and crush it."
Whoa.
This is Korea called you?
Yeah, it was Hyundai.
It was actually Hyundai.
Oh, it was Honda.
Yeah, it was Mr. Hyundai.
What was
Hyundai.
inside the floor?
It was
What was
people
that?
from Hyundai. It was because the guy, when they were unloading it at the dealership, he had an accident and he busted the rear bumper on it, which is like not a big deal. You could easily fix that, but they're like, we don't care. We can't sell it anymore as a brand new vehicle because it's got
to have like a report or whatever.
So they're more interested in just
Did you crush it?
yeah, but they sent somebody to watch me crush it.
Yeah, they're like, you're not selling this. Yeah.
They sent somebody to watch me. So I had to crush a brand spanking new
That had to
Hyundai
hurt.
Palisade.
I
Oh,
would
it
have been
was-
like, hey, turn around real quick.
Here's 20 grand. Go away.
And you got paid for it.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah. You get paid to just crush it.
I want to work there.
No one has a crusher.
Dang.
That's
That's what he's here for.
That's what they put Michael Myers in at the end of the new movie, by the way.
Tell us a little bit about that new tool you got, the machine. We were talking to Bane about making blades for it.
You were talking about that, and we have like
The one
this,
you got from England, but Italy.
It came from Italy. Yeah, it's a copper granulator is what it is. It takes insulated copper wire, which is worth like, a certain amount of money, and it turns it into pure copper, which is worth more. But it's
Oh shit, that's tight.
It's real tight.
It's pretty cool how it works.
It's a huge. Like, I've seen the video of it. It's just so loud. It's just cutting.
Yeah, it's really loud.
shaking.
And when they sold it to me, they said it was silent too. The salesman
Oh, what a
fucked up.
prick.
Are you missing a button somewhere? You're supposed to
Silent message of silence.
You can hear it through the whole industrial park. Literally.
God.
It's ridiculous, but
And so,
he's like, yeah, it's
well, then
silent. You
that
won't hear
means
a
that
thing.
all the cars you have, the junk cars, that you could take the copper, like the very small copper out of there, but it adds up.
It's not very. Every car has a lot more copper than you probably think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it does. Yeah,
Like
I
the
never thought-
alternator's got a ton.
Every
right?
single speaker wire.
So the
Speaker
alternator
wire, exactly,
we
that's what
sell
I'm thinking.
as an alternator, but yes, there's copper in it. But your dashboard. So like imagine all your electronics and your
Yeah.
radio and shit. So that's all connected to the dash, and there's it's like that thick running through the dash,
What?
and
Never thought.
they all have it, and they
Stealing
run.
catalytic converters. I'm stealing dashes.
It's like a 2-inch in diameter for those listening. But yeah.
And you push that into this machine, and it.
We take it out, and it just looks like an insulated wire harness.
Yeah.
Imagine, I don't know,
Full of it,
like
yeah.
a hose
Yeah.
rolled up. That's what it looks like. And it goes into this hopper and it gets shredded up into, real fine dust. And then there's shakers and there's magnets and shit.
Separate it all?
Yeah. So it's,
Oh my God.
So it shreds it and then it just
Fil-
Like,
filters
yeah,
it.
just filters
It's
it
like
all
the
out.
gold machine like they
Yeah,
have
'cause
up
you
on
think,
the,
like,
kind of like that.
We like have a thing where you feed the copper wire yourself manually.
And then it cuts the wire
and just,
off
all it
of
does
it.
is cut the sheet.
Yeah,
and then
we got one of them too, like just a
but
shred
what yours
or,
would do is just chop it all up
you
and
can
it would
throw
separate.
instead of like
You
having to
throw
put
like this
it
in
in
there.
and get the thing. You just
Strip
throw the
it.
whole. It could be in a rat's nest. It could be like.
And it will find the copper.
It could be all tangled up in a bundle. You throw it. It's like you're throwing it into a hopper, and there's a shredder. It's
Does it separate like copper and aluminum at the same time or no?
well, yeah, actually, the aluminum comes out. Yeah, it comes out as a different. Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay. So it keeps that separate.
It gives you it spits out like plastic and trash, and then it spits out copper, and then it spits
amazing.
out a product called Zorba, which has aluminum in it.
Kevin Zorbo?
That's amazing.
Didn't you have the guys that sold it to you? They sent like 2 English dudes over to show you how to set it up for like a week, and you were taking them jet skiing and stuff. That was kind of cool. Yeah, it's a big machine, so it has to like people come and they show you how to use it. Yeah,
It's a piece of factory equipment, so
Yeah.
it takes up like a warehouse. But so it's built in Italy, but the company I got it from is out of England. So the people I got it from are the people that came and put it together and showed us how to use it and all that. And yeah, they stayed in Solomon's, and we tried to show them a good time.
So with your business, I feel like there's a lot of cash flow. And I'm not saying like a lot of cash on hand, but I feel like it's like a high cash business. Do you have a lot of employees, and do you have a problem with theft? Because I feel like I'm just there's a lot of junk cars around. There's a lot of metal around. It just sounds like
no dogs.
Right. It just sounds like a thief's paradise to me. I would be so
Well, he has
stressed
cameras and shit everywhere.
to own this business. That's all I'm saying. I would be stressed
You'd
out.
be stressed out.
Oh, I'm stressed. It's it is a stressful business to be in. And right now we have a vandalism problem. These little punks keep coming in and busting out all the glass in all the cars.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know,
But have to hire security.
the
eventually.
guys that work with me though, like have literally worked for my grandfather. Like a lot of the guys that are with me now have started with my grandfather, and then came over to me, and like they're not stealing anything, and they watch over the place like their own, because it is their own. You know, that's.
Pays their bills too.
Yeah, well, you know, and it just everybody looks after everybody. It's like a tight little community in there.
That's dope.
So like there's another guy that I think has a machine up in Philly. This is an interesting story. Like the biggest recycled car person, guy, junker, whatever you want to call him in Philly. You and him have like a relationship now too, right?
Yeah, so
You should have constant relationships. Just
Yeah.
keep spreading.
But this is like a big city. This dude gets
Go ahead. Sorry.
the volume he does is crazy compared to like your volume,
so
right?
the only reason I know him is it's just, you know, I'm sure every city has major, you know, auto recycling businesses, but in buying my machine, the people I got it from, they said you ought to reach out to this guy up in Philly. He's got a much bigger machine than he does. So my machine does like 440 pounds per hour, and his does 2,500 pounds per hour. So it's massively bigger. But yeah, I reached out to him. He was just cool as hell, and he was like, "Come up here, man. Just come up here today." Like he
Come right now.
He was real accommodating.
Constant work.
You went, right?
Yeah, I went, and then he came and checked mine out, and he tuned it for me, and he got it running much better, and I appreciate it.
That's pretty cool.
So how many cars do you think you have on your lot? Like, I'm always curious. Like, if I were to call and say,
At any given time.
Yeah, if I were to call and say, hey, I have this 2008 Subaru. You're like, hey, come on down. We got something. Like, I mean, how often is that happening?
Yeah, are you constantly inventorying too,
Yeah.
or do you just have people go, there might be something out there. Good look.
Yeah.
That's what we do, because we don't. So there.
Option D.
Yeah, there are a lot of full service yards that
Like,
are
like Brandywine, they have
that are constantly
online. You can check.
inventorying. They're putting their stuff on the internet, and they're
Yeah.
Where I went for my sunroof when my
eBay.
ex-girlfriend broke
That's
it.
so much work.
They sell stuff with like warranties and stuff, and I just don't. My business is much more about the recycling aspect, so I don't really
Okay.
care about that. I don't want to deal with any of that. So
lot of work.
yeah, if it's
Online
out
work's
there
tough.
and you can get it, I'll sell it to you at probably a quarter of the price as those guys. But I don't want to hear about it. I'm not going to help you with it.
Do you charge
if
me?
it breaks, don't come back.
Do you charge
If
me?
it
Yeah,
works,
for
you have to-
sure not.
Once you buy it, it's yours. That's how it works.
Do you know what you kind of have on the lot?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know what we have.
Have
The
people
good ones
hold
he
on.
keeps.
Have people actually come back? Like, hey, dude, this thing.
Oh yeah, they come back all the time.
Oh my god.
There's probably a big sign in the office like,
Yeah,
You buy it, it's yours. F off,
Yeah.
basically.
But people still want to plead their case, though.
It's like you bought it from a recycling
I'll be honest.
yard.
You know,
Right.
this sounds like a pretty good little Netflix documentary here, or an AMC show or something.
There's a guy right up the street that so you could get on TV right now. I mean, a junkyard empire. It's on all the time. That's literally right up the street from us, from right here. It's like 20
Really?
minutes away from here.
Which
Yeah.
way?
It's in it's like where the Redskins Stadium is.
Oh,
Largo?
Yeah, around that
Up
area.
the street. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I know.
A little bit more than 20 minutes, but
It's like 30.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's
Depends
not,
when you go.
it's not that far.
Yeah. No,
And that show, I mean, there's a lot of episodes of that show.
how many acres you got back there?
I've got two. So there's two. We own two lots now. We own. I say we because I own. I personally own two. My grandfather still owns one. There's three lots.
Gotcha,
Right.
There's three lots. My grandfather at one point owned all three of them, and he sold the one that my main location. He sold it to a plumber named Charles Downs, who somewhat recent. Well, it's been actually 3 or 4 years, I guess now. He died in a speedboat accident in Leonardtown in the Wharf.
I remember that.
Yeah. So
shit.
I do remember that. I knew I heard that name before, but I couldn't.
yeah, he was a great guy. And my grandfather sold the one place to him, and then he still owned two of them, which now he still owns one of them. And then I went up in like 2015 and leased one from my grandfather. Then I bought the one from Charles, and then I bought the one that I originally leased. So my grandfather still owns one, and then I own two. So
Right.
eventually we'll own all three. But right now it's like 6 acres and then 5 acres. The one's a little bit smaller.
So these guys that are like on Facebook and stuff, they're like, hey, give us your junk cars. All they're doing is taking free cars and coming to you and like getting like a couple $100.
Yeah, like
Wow.
we'll pay up to $400 for any car. No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
no
because
matter
they're
the
gonna cut the
condition.
cat on it. They're gonna get the wheels off it. They're gonna get the battery out of it. Then they're gonna bring it to me.
metal.
Then they're gonna bring all the shit to
I
me.
never even thought about that. Like,
Yeah.
it was just like,
Oh, all
sure,
of it.
come help me out and get rid of this free
man.
car. Like,
Yeah, I've had this 93 Beretta in the woods, been sitting there for 5 years.
Some people have zero means of taking it up there, though.
Right.
yeah.
Like, yeah, they have no trailer. You could take their car up there.
Or like, you get given grandma's house and there's 14 cars in the back that you literally don't run and you can't do nothing with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
people
take $400 for
people
each of
make
those.
livings out of it. It's a good living to make, man. I mean, you get yourself a truck and you
gotta
start
hustle.
hustling.
Yeah,
and you're
just grind.
good.
I'm getting into the junk car business. It sounds
Why not?
so tight.
Why not?
Do you have a tow truck too?
Get your little tow.
I feel like all the like the place like that, they have a tow truck business as well. You know, like,
We don't have a tow truck business. We have tow trucks, but the
Okay.
tow trucks are strictly for getting our own cars that we
Gotcha.
buy.
Okay.
So my dad's place in Charlotte Hall, that's where I start. You know, my grandfather's been doing this ever since forever, I guess. I don't know. But my dad like worked with him for a little while, and then you know where St. Mary's Auto Parts is with the red, white, and blue fence.
Yes.
Yeah. Now they do like trash bins or something.
Yeah. So my dad started that place when he was 16, and that was Reliable Used Auto Parts, and that's like what we did. My grandfather went down to Hollywood, where where I'm at now. So they kind of separated, and then when I was old enough to kind of do it with them, my dad had Charlotte Hall by then, and I did it with him, and then it's hard to work with your family, so I just went out and bought a rollback of my own, and I did that by myself, like out of my house for a few years.
You were kind of always like, this is what I'm going to do. You weren't like, you didn't feel any kind of resistance to that at all?
I totally did. Actually, I kind of did. I kind of tried to take a different, but my life, life's weird.
It's like, I just felt like with like,
That's weird.
I just feel like sometimes we kind of steer away from what the family does because we want to do something else, but like sometimes that's not the best move.
Well, so my mom was a teacher, and she always I was born in St. Mary's, and that's where we lived until it was time for I went to Letty Dent, and it was time for me to go to middle school, and I guess I would have went to Thomas Stone or something. She didn't want me to, so we had a second house on the island in
it
Solomons.
would have been Margot Brent.
So we moved there so I could go to Mill Creek because it was brand new. Then she didn't want me to go to Patuxent because she thought that was bad school, and she always knew where the best schools were. So Huntingtown was building like the brand new school.
Yep.
So then I moved to Huntingtown for high school.
Oh
And my
my
dad
God.
sold that place that he had started. So my dad was back in just basically freelancing in his tow truck. So I was basically just not the best kid, so I wasn't like trying to go to school or nothing. I didn't want to do anything really. But I remember I had a family member that ended up getting me a job on Pax River for a little while. I hated that. But then I kind of,
I lived on Pax River.
Thank you, family member.
Yeah. Thanks, but no thanks.
At least like you're not really. I mean, I don't think anybody really likes sitting in an office all day.
It's
but
hard to
just
find what you want to do, dude. Especially coming out of high school, like you have no idea how many jobs there are. You know what I'm saying? There is a job that you
there's
could
a lot of money to be made.
It's hard to
and
find.
then you don't realize how many ways there are to make a living with just doing it yourself. Buying a rollback.
I didn't know that was an option.
I did, but
Didn't think about
it. We were like, hey, go to college and try to go to college and then try to get in the workforce. Like if you don't know, you don't know. But now I'm trying to get out of the workforce.
My parents' neighbor, now that I think about it, he had a Hollywood used auto parts rollback in his driveway for years. Well, he clearly worked there.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Last name Forsyth, I think his last
Jimmy
name.
Forsyth.
Yes.
There you go.
Like how that worked out.
Cool.
He actually, I think, owned the place that I own now for a little while.
Well, there we go.
Where is your place at?
Hollywood.
Airport View Road.
Oh,
it's in
Airport
the
View Road.
industrial
Right
Okay.
where I work, right where Triton is,
Yeah,
right where
gotcha. Okay.
Breeze Line's back there,
That's right down the road from my office then.
Ship Point's back there. Yeah, it's across the street up a little bit.
Got you. I had no idea where it was at. I was just like,
Family like religious at all? Or
No, we're not religious at all.
nope. No, nothing from.
good
But
question. Mike.
we've
I
had
just
some
thought of
good,
it.
we've had some good talks where you're kind of like, let's just get into it. You say a lot, which I agree with a lot, that things are going like satanic and like are being controlled by, like the media is controlled by, dark forces or whatever. And
Don't go all Kanye now.
no, I'm not. I actually believe these things myself. I'll put that out there. Like I do think, I think that a lot of the leaders of our world are certainly controlled by something maybe they're not aware of, and they do dumb things. And the earth is trending away from God. So
Do you think it's true that they make them do certain things on camera so that they have them in their pockets for forever?
absolutely, I believe that's
Pretty foul.
dude. That's like the oldest trick in the book, though.
I know, but I'm
You
saying like
agree
they
to do
make
it.
them do it now.
Yeah.
So is it like a trade off, like a sold, like
Well,
selling?
yeah. Now we're all in the club. We all have this on each other. That's what the Bohemian Grove
we
thing's
were,
all
we
about.
were
Like
all banging little kids. Now we're in
exactly. And now everyone in this club, Republicans, Democrats, whoever, they all are in it together.
Yeah.
They know it, and now they get the top secrets, and now they can't say anything.
Well,
else.
finish your thought though. Finish your
Yeah.
thoughts.
My thought was Charlie and I have had some really, I think, pretty good conversations about that. Being not religious, I didn't actually know you weren't, religious, but you speak about like
I'm not
evil
religious
forces and things
in
like that.
the slightest. I'm
Spiritual.
very spiritual.
Yeah.
I believe that. I don't think that we are here out of nothing. I don't think that this is random. I think that this place that we're experiencing was put here for us to experience.
Sure.
And what Jake's getting to is that the flat Earth thing, and it's
Is that what you're getting at?
Not yet. I was going
I
to
was
get
saving
there.
that for you.
Oh, yeah, I was
want
gonna
to
get
hear.
there,
I
but-
want to hear more about that, but I was.
Well, I was talking about, you were saying, I guess it all does lead into the flat earth thing because you feel like the information is being controlled to trick people, which I believe, not regarding flat earth, but other things. I do believe that the information is certainly controlled, and it's definitely done for devious reasons.
no doubt. There's no doubt about that.
So yeah, you can get into it if you want. Like, I wanted to start with some other conspiracies myself.
I'm not. That's the thing. I feel like because of the flat Earth thing, like I'll be labeled a conspiracy guy.
Well,
And
But that does get a bad rep.
I'm not a
the
conspiracy
label
guy.
conspiracy theorist, like it kind of gets better.
but everyone knows what we're saying. Like, if I say who shot,
I
chemtrails, who shot JFK, 9/11.
Do you believe in chemtrails?
I know that we can do that, but I don't believe that every plane going over does that.
Control
No.
the weather.
Well, they
Definitely a
did. They
possibility.
can seed clouds and make it rain, but
Yeah.
no, we can't. We
I
can't.
think that's about it, right?
That's
kinda
about
just-
it. It's that's all we know. But
I like to make it rain every now and then.
Yeah, at the Moose.
I guess $4 check.
Got my card. Swipe.
So like the word conspiracy to me, yeah, it sucks because a lot of the stuff, everything's a conspiracy. If there's more than one person that's like planned it, then like it's a conspiracy.
I
You
think,
know, like
I
we're
think
here right now as a.
we all, I think individually have a conspiracy that we all kind of subscribe to a little bit. But I think
What's yours?
that I subscribe to.
Yeah.
I just named a bunch. 9/11, JFK. You can Oklahoma City bombing. Like you go on forever. Most of those I'm in. I don't agree with the mainstream narrative. I would just.
Did you know that mostly the people I've seen that are kind of into the flat Earth thing were religious or are religious, I should say, or spiritual, I guess.
That's because there's a couple verses in the Bible that that seem to allude to that.
I guess my biggest thing with the flat Earth thing is what would be the reason for hiding the flat Earth?
No, hiding.
Like, what would be the reason for convincing us that the Earth is spherical?
So you know how Jake was just saying, that he feels like the world is moving away from God. The world is moving away from the Creator. The world is moving more toward evil. Basically, in the world, there's good and there's evil. Now, if you want to brainwash a people that are around you and you want to control them, what bigger lie can you tell them than what it is that they're on and why it is that they're here and what it is going on around them?
Or what happens when you die?
I mean,
it's a big one too.
It's all about, pushing this whole thing that there's this space, there's this infinite space that happened out of nothing. It's a random explosion. Everything that you're experiencing is random. You're meaningless. There is no God, everybody knows that water, the natural property of water is to find its level, right? If you have water in a container, it's going to find its level. That's what they teach us in physics, right? You go to physics, the natural property of water is to maintain its level. It's going to find its level. The Earth is mainly what?
Water.
Okay. So they're telling you that water is bending, right? That it's arching.
Yeah.
Because they're saying that Earth is 8 by their math, they're telling you that the Earth is 8 inches squared per mile. So basically, if you're using like surveying equipment,
right,
you should see a curve but you don't. The horizon is always level. If you go to the top of Mount Everest, the horizon always rises to the eye of the observer, and it will always be level. Now you can see videos on YouTube of a curved horizon.
Fisheye lens
It's
or something?
fisheye lens. So Felix Baumgartner, the guy that jumped off the Red Bull thing.
So I named my kid after.
So did you see him throwing up the Masonic signs when he landed on the ground? But so it's real funny. So on his with the ESPN camera,
when it's behind him,
they have the fisheye lens. And
super arch.
It looks like a baller, but the camera inside that's looking over his shoulder, it doesn't have the fisheye lens. The horizon is level. The horizon is always level. Water is always level. That's it. That's all you got to know.
So do you believe it? Like, so do you just believe it's like a flat disc, or like is it like does it end? Does it?
Are you about to show
point?
So there are treaties. Why is Antarctica the most protected place on Earth? All these nations fighting with each other.
Well, they
right?
always say that, but I don't see that it's the most protected place on Earth.
You can't go there and explore.
You could if you could figure out how to get down there.
Survive.
We do Operation. I just happen to know about this because I literally could possibly go down there, but that's through the Navy.
It's through the military.
But if me and you got a ship and we went down there, I don't think they would stop us.
Basically, imagine. Have you seen NATO's map? Have you seen NATO's logo? Imagine NATO's logo, but around it is all ice walls. And if you're familiar with it, then you've seen the giant pictures of like ice walls that literally war vessels can pull up to. That's what contains water. Water has to be contained. We know that about water. It has to be contained by something. Water can't imagine.
So that gets you to the point where you wouldn't necessarily believe in gravity holding it down.
Gravity has never been proven to be real. It's a theory. It's not real.
Which that's a part of.
Density perfectly explains what gravity is. An object that is denser than the medium around it will sink. An object that's not as dense will rise. So that's why a hot air balloon can.
But the reason it works is because of gravity. The reason density is.
What is gravity?
Well, it's just a force.
Says you.
Well, if I drop something, if I drop this, it goes down.
Right.
that you can say that's density, or you can say whatever.
So understand
It goes this way. I mean, it went down, up.
So gravity picks and chooses when it's so. Imagine a balloon, right? So a balloon has helium in it, right?
Right.
Once I put oxygen in it, once I put helium in it, it's now lighter than the air around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna float, and it's gonna sit on top of.
Yeah. So all of those principles are defined. Like that's what everyone says. Okay, we know all that happens. What do we want to call it? And they call it gravity. That's the way I was taught.
Well, I think there's also like gravity is affected at different parts of the world. Something can be just as dense in other parts of the world. The same density.
Well, density is based off of temperature.
Same density can have different effects based on where you are in the world because of the gravitational pull.
So I agree, like what he said. Gravity
I know exactly what you're saying. I'm trying to remember. So there's a way to explain it. I know what you're saying.
Gravity is not proven is one of my my go-tos. I always say that too. Like you can't actually prove it. We observe it. Like we just observe that things.
But there's ways to prove that it's not real. There's a guy that I've learned all of this from that knows all this stuff really well. And I'm trying to remember, there is a way to explain away what Jake is saying. So imagine, I can't. I'm not.
Think on that for a second.
Yeah, I gotta think
Get
on
back
it.
to
Do you know the
Wes's
guy's name? You
question.
can look it up real quick.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, go ahead. Pull it. Yeah, pull it up.
Get back to Wes's question about.
Actually,
it's really all of our question.
Yeah, I don't need to pull it
It's
up.
a question I've always thought about. If the Earth is flat and we know it tomorrow, then what does it change?
Changes everything.
But I just don't. I just don't know.
It's easy to say it changes
I
everything.
thought-
But what is the specific?
I already don't believe it.
It's
I already don't trust the
So what
government.
you're just saying is a problem, right? That we're turning.
Yes. Well, everything you just said on that previous thing where, you feel insignificant, everything's random, completely agree with that. That is like the secular thing that's why people are
It's
against
basically
Christianity.
good versus evil. Like if the word, we live on a level plane. If people knew and understood that, they would understand that we're not spinning through nothing, flying around. We're not.
There is another way to look at that where you.
And plus, so gravity. They say gravity holds your feet to the ground, right? It's strong enough to hold your feet to the ground.
whole being. To the ground.
But it's also light enough that a balloon's pretty light, right?
Yeah.
So what? The gravity just decides it can't hold this light ass balloon.
Well, it's lighter than the air that it's in.
Exactly.
So
That's why it's rising.
Yeah.
There is no gravity. Gravity didn't just decide I can't hold this balloon anymore.
That is the principle
the
that is
force.
called
What happened
gravity.
is the
There's no
balloon
resistance.
is lighter than the air around it.
The way to describe that is you have to give that a name.
You don't. It's density.
Well, I will.
Density doesn't matter if there's nothing.
Same thing as
If there's
buoyancy.
nothing,
It's not a force.
Let's move on from
Buoyancy,
this
mate.
part.
Well, I just have one.
Because it's irritating me because there's a guy that explains talks about this
Yeah.
part and he can articulate
Charlie,
it.
seriously,
and
pull it up real quick. Pull it up while we're
I'll
talking.
pull it up.
I know it. Okay.
We usually do, but we don't have it set up right now.
So I do have a question though. Like,
I'll let you guys know who to listen to.
it's fine.
and
But I will
you
say
can listen.
scientifically though, they've shown that the closer you are to the equator, the gravitational pull is not as strong, and they've shown that if you weigh, your weight difference, like how much you weigh here, it can actually be slightly off the closer you get to the equator. So the gravitational pull is less.
But they also say it's holding the moon but that's two different things that they're saying it's doing. Like, you know how they say it makes the
Moon faces
I will be
as it
the
goes
first
around.
one to tell you I don't understand why the Earth sits where it does, or why the moon circles the Earth. You know what I mean? Like in relation to the sun and other planets, why does anything just sit in this big black canvas? I know you have a good answer for that. You can give it to us if you want.
So what do you?
I do, but I mean, it's
what do
not-
y'all think that NASA says the Earth is now?
I don't know,
It's oblong.
but see,
I
I
was
don't.
to say they don't even say it's a ball anymore.
Yeah.
They now say that they don't even say it's a ball.
Neil deGrasse
They say it's a
Tyson says it's
pear.
like a pear. Yeah.
Oh, pear, yeah. It
pear.
squeezes like this. Yeah.
So I have the same worldview as you, as far as I need to believe something to believe I'm significant. I'm loved by God, whatever, all that good stuff. But I believe that that God just put it there, and it is how it is. Instead of that, they're lying to me.
But Jay, so if
Which
nobody,
is almost it's hard to.
If
hard to
nobody
believe
ever
that.
told you
Yeah,
it's
it's
flat
hard-
Earth,
it's-
yeah.
if nobody ever told you anything, if nobody ever said there's outer space, we're spinning, The
I
Earth
would
is a
never
ball.
figure out. I
you-
personally wouldn't figure out we're spinning.
If you, you would view us as motionless, right? You can see when the wind's blowing, you
Sure.
can see the trees being blown over.
Can't see the wind.
But they're saying that
Yeah, you're saying because they're spinning at.
I think it's such a
at an
massive
insane
scale.
amount of.
I think it's a scale issue, though.
Yes.
With certain things.
Well, I think so. I was watching Neil deGrasse Tyson was on Joe Rogan, and he was saying like at our tallest point and our lowest point in the Earth, it's only like 11 miles, right? From the tallest to the lowest, 11 miles on Earth.
They feel like a marble.
We're eight. Yes, like the Earth itself is like if you were to, it's smoother
Condense it
than a
down.
cue ball.
Yeah.
That because we're 8,000 miles deep.
Right.
That it's literally you think it's this big difference, but it's not.
It's a.
That it's so the Earth itself is so smooth that we're not able to compute.
Yeah, but I'm not really
that it's
here. I'm
moving
not really
around.
here to argue or
no.
anything.
But do you understand what you're saying? That we're not capable of understanding how it really is. You're not able to see it with your own eyes because it's over your head. That's what you're saying. What I'm telling you is measurable, observable, and repeatable. Go out there and measure the horizon. Go get
Right.
some surveying equipment.
Right,
Measure
so
the horizon. Go talk to
you can
people
take a
that build
picture of the sun
railroads and
every single
bridges
day and it'll be in a
ask them
different-
if they have to account for the curvature.
Yeah. But that's why the sun is never like.
But
you can
isn't
literally
also that a scale thing too, Charlie? With because a railroad tie is this big and the
It's
Earth.
supposed, so by their own math, they
Right.
say every mile it should be 8 inches. It curves 8 inches. That's what they say. If you're talking about a ball, it has to curve.
Right.
You can't just be no curve.
The horizon is a big issue. So like we've all flown on planes. When you look out, it does look flat. I think about it every time I look out there. I'm like, you can't see the curve. I'm 35,000 feet up. How high do I have to go? If you look at the math, like you should be able to see the curve from up there. I do agree on that. However, when you're standing on the beach and you're 6 foot high, you can see 3 miles out on a perfectly flat, calm day. When there's a ship coming, and I used to work on ships, so we would see it all the time, you can only see the mast, the top of the ship, until it gets closer, and then the rest comes into view. To me, that one is hard to get around from a flat Earth standpoint. I know, I've read the stuff like, yeah, put a telescope on it, you can see. That's not true. Like you can't.
So what they say, one of the debunking proofs is that if you watch a ship sailing into the sea, it'll eventually disappear over the curvature of the Earth.
Right.
If you watch it keep going, it'll disappear and you can't see it anymore. And that's what they say to disprove the flat Earth. But they're totally wrong because yes, it will disappear, but it's just disappearing from your eye's perspective. If you get a telescope or a not like one of those zoom cameras, you can bring it right back into scope perfectly. It's still there.
I don't know about that. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Like I've done that. Not with a telescope, but like binoculars. Like you can. I mean, it's.
I know there's
my little
videos on
personal
YouTube
things
where
don't really
people
work
do it.
because there's water vapor. There's all kinds of stuff that does start to shield the bottom. But when it gets far enough out there, you can only see the top. Why can you only see the top though, and not the bottom?
I've never done it. I've watched videos where people let it get out of sight and then are able to bring it back. But about the gravity thing, so think about this. So they tell you the Earth is like, imagine like a basketball spinning on like a guy's finger, right?
Right.
And that's what's creating the gravity. That's what's making you stick to it, right?
I don't know what creates gravity.
But
Actually,
that's-
is that
but
what it
that's-
is?
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
This is what they say.
If you took a bucket and you swung it around like this, full of
Oh,
water,
like things go in the
you
out.
swing it like this,
water
will not,
stays.
water will not come out.
Yeah.
So that's all they're saying.
Third
is-
grade teacher
No,
did that.
that's because it's in the container.
But the water-
what they're saying is
that force is
imagine a
holding it in.
basketball
Yeah.
soaked with water and then it's spent, but
The water's inside of land. You know that, like there's land everywhere else. It's just like the bucket.
Well, right, your
there's
ice
land
wall would be
everywhere
the
else,
bucket.
What?
The ice wall would be the bucket.
But
yeah,
anyways,
it's
so
different, but
remember
yeah.
when you go to a carnival and you see a Gravitron and you get in the thing and,
Yeah.
and there's like the padding
Yep.
behind you and it spins and you
Yep.
get stuck to it?
Yep.
Well, does anybody think if you were standing on the outside of that thing, you would get stuck to the outside of it? I mean,
Well,
really?
Yeah. That's
Absolutely
funny.
not. That's not how it works with physics. That's not how it works.
I also
the
think
only
that's-
reason you're getting stuck to the wall is because you're inside of it.
Sure.
If you were on the outside
You're
of it,
inside
you're
of
not
the atmosphere.
sticking to the outside of it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
ridiculous. And that's what they're saying is
I get what
happening
you're
with the
saying.
ball.
I think that's like
Gravity is bullshit. There is no gravity. It's never been proven for a reason. You don't need to explain away why density is density and why buoyancy is buoyancy.
What is the history of flat Earth? Like how far?
So
how big is the conspiracy?
it's
Not the
brand
conspiracy.
new. Everybody knew we lived on a level plane forever. Every ancient civilization forever knew we lived on a level plane. The flat Earth, people thinking we live on a spinning ball is a recent phenomena. Pythagoras dreamed it up in his mind 2,500 years ago. He was also happened to be the first ever recorded Mason in history, but it came from his brain. Nobody thought that. Everybody thought it was stupid when he said it. Didn't catch on until I think it was Plato came along. It was no.
Well, that's a good.
Another one of those Masons, those trigonometry Masons, came along, and then they start. It's a scam. They're trying to destroy the creator. They're trying to destroy. That's why every artist you see right now is pushing satanic. I mean, the world's in bad shape. But you say, what does it matter? Well, for one, we gave NASA $25 billion of our tax money last year. For what? For what?
I think
there's not one real picture of the Earth. Every picture they give you, they tell
Composites.
you is Photoshop.
Yeah.
There is no picture of this ball Earth. You gotta. I mean, it's the main thing to understand. It's the. Have you ever seen a telescope floating around up above your head? I mean,
satellite.
satellite.
Yes.
You've seen a satellite above your head.
I've seen a little white dot going like this.
With a telescope, right? They
no. You can see. I can go out there. I can find. I'm like a satellite finder, dude. I can find them so quick.
You can find satellites.
Look for the little dot that's hauling dick across the sky.
Find them on the telescopes. NASA has high altitude plane. It's a. You know what NASA means in Hebrew? To deceive. That's what it means.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you know what Evian spelled backwards is? Naive. It's just bottled water.
My favorite bottled water. It's the only only bottled water I drink.
So is the moon
I just debunked some bottled water, by the way.
Is the
No, you
moon just
spelled
a
it
flat
backwards.
sphere?
I told you what it meant in Hebrew.
Is the moon a flat sphere?
No, the moon is transparent. The moon is a light. So you can. So if you have a thermometer, right, and you want to test sunlight is always warm. So in the daylight, if you have a thermometer and you have like a piece of cardboard set up in the light and in the shade, sunlight's always warmer.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
You go out in the night on a real good moonlit night.
Yeah.
And you put that same piece of cardboard in the moonlight.
Yeah.
Versus in the shade.
Yeah.
The moonlight will be colder than the shade. Sunlight is warm, moonlight is cold. Sunlight is it can
Have you observed some of these things yourself and like tried it?
Yeah, I've tried all.
That's important.
I've tried like
a lot of
Well, dude, knowledge with that. You can't just. He's making cool points. I'm like enthralled over here.
If you guys are actually interested in this and actually care about trying to hear about it at all, Eric DUBAY on YouTube. That's all you need.
DUBAY.
Listen to Eric DUBAY. He's the very best at it. That's who I listen to.
D-U-B-E-S or
It's
D-I-A-S or A-I-S?
DUBAY.
I'm interested in everything like this, and I've been interested in this for years. This is the one. This is the only one that I haven't been able to get behind, just because of the vast amount of people that would be involved in covering it up. That's always the biggest problem for me.
So you know, after World War, I don't know. What was key to tricking everybody that we were going to the moon and going to outer space and stuff were the rocket ships. Well, how did we get the rocket ships when we went to the moon? Have you ever heard of Werner von Braun?
Yes.
He's a Nazi scientist that we brought back over here after the war, and he developed the rocket and tricked everybody that we're going to space. If you ever watch,
Well, it was a space race, a legitimate space race, because we wanted to be the first people there to, beat the Nazis.
What does that get you? That's what I've never wondered.
Intercontinental missiles or whatever,
if you ever notice when they shoot them things off, they do it in Florida surrounded by water. And if you watch the things, they always go straight up and then they come straight back down. They always make an arch and they come right back down, and they go out in the ocean and they pick them right back up. They're not going anywhere. Things are not going anywhere.
I was looking up that word, NASA. In Hebrew. I saw a site that said it did mean that, and then I saw another one that said to lift up, something like that. But obviously it's an acronym, but still.
They got a lot of all their imagery is like serpents and shit. Like,
actually, in Hebrew, my name, Jacob, is he was the deceiver. That was what his name was.
Well, there we go.
Not Hebrew in I guess it was Hebrew.
So how do we explain, right? So we've got the map behind you, right? I don't even know if that was a coincidence or if that was on purpose.
No, it's been down here since they moved in.
Also, like rockets, when they exit the atmosphere, they have to like go at an angle like that. They have to, and they have to enter a literal highway of satellites. What I believe, I'm not here to argue with you.
What they say, I get no. Every point, like I've had this debate. I've had this debate with people. I know the other side just as well. Like I know that side of it.
I hope just real quick because we never covered this either. I hope you don't think that we brought you on here to like make you or try to make you feel stupid. Because I'm like I'm full on interested in everything you have to say.
What are the edges? I want to know what's the edges.
So have you seen what I'm talking about when I say like the ice wall thing? That's what holds the water. So water has to be contained.
I guess what I'm saying though, like if you fly from California to say Australia, right? How does that a shorter flight if you go from California to Australia this way?
I'm not gonna sit here and like but I can tell you that there's a lot of people that prove that the Earth is flat through flight patterns. So like so there's a bunch of stories of like flights being up in the air and a lady gets pregnant, goes into labor, and they land and they're not supposed to be like on the ball Earth. They shouldn't be where they're, but it makes perfect sense. Look up NATO's logo. NATO's logo, it's a flat Earth map, divided into 33 sections for the Masons. They throw this shit in your face. They laugh at us, man. They are laughing at us.
So their belief is, right, the sun, moon, opposite sides, and they just spin around.
They're two different, like
over
a yin
top.
yang. Have you ever seen a yin yang?
Yeah, and they spin around over
Like
top
that,
the flat Earth. Like this, right?
And day and night. It's a yin yang. Perfect yin, perfect yang.
Like on a flat.
So
how close do you think the sun is?
And then for the season, what was that?
How close do you think the sun is then?
It's not. They say it's bajillions of miles away. It's not. You can see. You can always see clouds behind it and in front of it. It's not that far away.
Right. I was just curious about that.
But
so Pythagoras, he thought of this to trick people.
It
is
is
kind of the original guy. Everyone before that was like, no. It's.
If you look at everybody, so all the ancient civilizations all knew that we lived on a level plane. Yes, Pythagoras 25 years ago. It's a brand new phenomenon. Nobody thought we were. Doesn't even make any fucking sense. We're on a ball. We're they say that,
I think it makes a lot of sense.
We're spinning like this, right?
Yeah.
So we're spinning like this on our axis on the axis is 66.6 degrees.
Yep.
On a 66.6 degree axis, we're sitting there and we're spinning like this. But we're not just spinning like that. We're also flying thousands of miles per hour. Like we're bumping into stars. Like we're not. There's all kind. You're saying
it's like a cyclone.
There's
right?
planets everywhere. There's stars everywhere. We're not hitting nothing, but we're going thousands of miles per hour.
Dude, space is big.
Well, I don't understand why we stopped where we stopped if it was a Big Bang.
Yeah.
I mean, I do understand because I don't.
But everything
believe in
is
that,
constantly expanding away from each other anyway.
But
so
not really.
No.
So,
I'm not saying like I know how we got here or not.
I know.
All I'm saying is
Neither am I.
You can't bring pseudoscience like gravity. It's not real. We have to explain density somehow. We have to explain density somehow. Density is literally a scientific term. We got to explain it somehow. But you can't. It's all their science is pseudoscience. I can tell you real scientific experiments to go try that you can do for yourself.
How do you think the flat Earth got here?
I don't know.
I'm just curious if you had something for that.
I have no idea.
So does every like airline pilot know the Earth is flat? Are flight times depicted on a flat Earth?
They don't care. Like airline, they're just doing their job. They don't give a shit. But there are plenty. You can find
looks
videos.
like what it looks
there
like.
are plenty of videos that they realize it and they will talk to you. But there's something in a plane, a mechanical device that proves the Earth is flat. It's called a gyroscope. It's the leveling device of the plane.
Right.
First of all, if the Earth was a ball and it's every mile it curves 8 inches, that means that if I'm flying a plane and it's curving 8 inches every mile, I got to start tilting this thing down. So the word planet is plane. They just added a T to it 2,500 years ago. I mean, literally, the word plane comes from plane. So they're flying over a plane.
And I know you said all the pictures from NASA are fake, but what about the pictures we have of other planets that are around?
They're fake as hell. The pictures they give us of planets look nothing like planets if you actually look through a telescope. Anyways, but
what about the Mars rover? Or is that fake? Is it fake?
Bullshit,
okay,
man.
They're just hightailing it around the desert.
It's
so
literally all bullshit to take your money out of your pocket.
Let's back off to flat Earth and go to some other ones, some other things that people don't have the answer to.
No. I actually have another question.
Okay.
Asteroids, meteors. What about those?
You ever seen one?
Yeah.
You've seen a meteor.
I've seen a comet. Yeah.
Shooting star
something
before.
goes through.
Shooting star, sure.
Well, shooting star is different than comet.
Shooting
But,
star, sure.
but
I've never
like
seen an
you've
asteroid.
seen craters in our Earth that are round.
So
hit the-
there's like it's just
it's
like
not
a-
little
it's-
discs
It's like the
flying through.
dinosaur fossils. There's a couple places where you can go see where asteroids have hit before, and it looks like they took a loader out there and scooted the shit around.
How long ago, man?
It's
They have
ridiculous,
loaders.
man. I've never seen
lazy
no
dig.
rocks crash
So are
into
you saying you don't believe in dinosaurs either?
He doesn't believe
baited
that.
Well,
it
I
on
actually
that.
think there's 0.0 chance of getting an asteroid to hit me. I
Well,
feel
yeah.
like that should be a bigger problem. It's I
A
actually
bigger what?
I like we're never
Well, our
we're
atmosphere
never
burns
going
up
to get
so many
hit
of
by
them.
an asteroid.
Never.
Excuse me. That
They
could
just
possibly.
came up with Space Force, man. They're gonna
Didn't they
protect
just
us.
hold on? Didn't they just
Space
send
Force is
a
gonna protect
drill
us.
bomb thing
Sorry,
to an
I'm
asteroid?
saying it's not something I
Yes,
think
and
about.
that was just to test it to see if they could
Okay.
hit it.
It's not
But
something I
you
think
said something
about.
at the same time.
So everybody says, why would they want to trick us with the heliocentric model? Why would they even want to do it? They just created a whole branch of the military to patrol
What if they-
something that isn't even there.
What if they were like, this is actually important and we should create a branch of the military for it? Like, what if there was an actual threat of, wow, we're starting to see a lot of these rocks flying
That's
around.
not what space comes. Space.
I know. It's more about satellites and being in control.
It's
from
more
above.
about
Yeah.
commanding the above the the plane
Personally,
level.
I'd be more
So
about
you
planet
guys,
protection.
I get that you guys haven't really come into the flat Earth thing and everything. So you really
tried. Look at
in
it,
your
yeah.
mind, you think that you can go high enough to a point in the sky where eventually you're high enough
Probably die,
that
but-
the laws of physics they don't exist anymore.
They would slow down.
Like you could go high enough that you could fall out of a plane and you don't fall, you just float.
If you get into past the atmosphere, yeah, I would believe that. But you're still falling.
And what is the atmosphere? The atmosphere is like this magic sphere.
It just gets thinner and thinner until
that
eventually
stays
becomes
around the
space.
sphere that holds us, like, because that's what they.
Yeah.
That's why they say you can't feel it, because the
Yeah.
atmosphere holds it keeps the
Everything.
atmosphere holds us all there, and you can't feel it. But that's another. That's magic.
That literally
That's-
protects us
there's
from
that
sun's
point-
rays.
That
and-
is no
Yeah, sure.
science.
That's the point I
protect-
thought about a lot.
But they can see it on like thermal imagery and
When there's a
they
space,
can see when it interacts with sun rays. They can see like aurora borealis. Like, what do you think that is?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's
A lot of people think
Isn't
that's
that
just
like the green
reflections.
thing in the sky?
Yeah, it's the
that's
green- yeah,
beautiful.
and
I
that's
the
wanna
from
see
northern
the
that.
light. It's called northern lights.
I
Yeah.
want to see that.
yeah. Dope.
What like so when you're in space and you're floating, shouldn't you be pulled to some gravitational?
So when you're in
So,
spa-
Jake,
yeah.
gravity, right? So they say gravity is why we have tides, right?
the moon, the moon's
Yeah, yeah.
The moon's
gravitational pull.
gravitational
yes.
pull.
Yep. As it
Why
goes
does
on.
it pick and choose? So it works on the oceans, but
Because
the Great Lakes of Michigan's are as big as the ocean.
Yeah.
No tides.
I think it's a matter of where the sun is
Ponds
as
don't
it,
have
in its
no
orbit.
tides. I guess
I
gravity
think the Great
picks and
Lakes do have a
chooses.
small tide.
Well, the reason the
Ponds
tides don't
don't
work.
have
The reason the
tides.
tides don't work in the Great Lakes though is because they're not all connected to the rest of the water. Like if you go to the ocean, they're connected to the water
But if
on
it's,
the other side.
But if it's the pull of the moon, so the moon picks and chooses what water it only wants to pull in the oceans.
it's not an entire.
Great Lakes are massive. It's
But
like
they're
an
not as big as the
ocean.
entire ocean.
then what-
They're
yeah,
mad- I don't-
that's what I want to know. Then what are tides for, and how do we get them?
And then, well, because the moon changes. You're right, though. It does pick and choose because it changes
It's
its rotation.
bullshit, dude.
The tides are caused by the gravitational pull of the
we
sun and the
only
moon.
have tides in the oceans, and I can't tell you why.
I can tell you
but
why if you guys want to listen.
I believe that it's
We know.
like the oceans are connected.
Like it's the gravitational between the sun and the moon are pulling the water. The reason it doesn't happen in the Great Lakes is because the Pacific is connected at some
yeah, but
point
the Great
to
Lakes are big enough for a tide.
It's not, but it's not as big as Pacific.
If the,
I know, but
if
dude, the
gravity
Great Lakes are
pulls
so
on
big.
The water,
I understand
how is
that,
it
but
picking
all
and
of the
choosing what
oceans
water
are
it wants to pull on?
connected. All of the oceans at some point touch each other, which make one big belt of an ocean. There's a one big belt of an ocean, and that's why you're able to
Yeah.
see
He does have a point
the
there.
tides.
No, we know, yeah.
The lakes aren't like that.
But
The
that's-
lakes aren't connected
they're
to
separate.
the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, but
But they're not
They're
connected.
big enough for a tide. I don't think you
we
understand
heard
how
you.
big the
When
Great
you're
Lakes
saying
are.
it, it looks like an
No,
ocean.
I hear what you're saying.
You're saying the world's waters are moving back.
Are
and
all the
forth.
Great Lakes
Understood.
connected? Or is that a
don't
dumb
know.
question?
No, they're not.
So
Okay,
do you,
I don't know.
Do you believe in space? No. So no space.
No
at all.
space. There's no
Okay.
planets.
What's
there's
beyond
no,
it?
I'm
just asking,
A lot
like-
of people think that there's a firmament above us, but there's no.
What's a
I only talk
firmament?
That's
about
in the Bible.
I only talk about like what I can actually like
Yeah.
measurable, observable, repeatable, and I'm not acting like I have all the answers.
Yeah.
Like
I'm okay with you saying I don't know. Like I'm okay with
I
that.
follow this guy Eric DUBAY. and he can articulate this shit extremely well. I can't. But I've listened to him enough, and I've listened to enough just everything.
I've seen a lot of people, dude, lately, checking in on myself. There's a lot of smart people that do believe.
There's a
Flat Earth.
Netflix documentary.
They've had a few back.
So the Flat Earth Society is literally controlled opposition. Don't like they if you Google Flat Earth, it's gonna take you to the Flat Earth Society. It's run by them, basically. They make us sound retarded. Like that's the whole point of it.
It's like they went to Walmart and just went, "Hey, follow us."
And then that's who they push on people, because they know you're gonna hear it, you're gonna get turned off, and you'll never go back to it.
Are you a big Kyrie Irving fan?
I'm not really an NBA guy, but
Are you not?
He believes in flat Earth.
He would like
He
NBA.
believes in flat Earth.
So does AJ Styles. He's a wrestler.
Dude, I was telling Jake today, Bryce, Bryce Mitchell in the UFC.
Yeah.
He made a video today calling Joe Rogan
Joe
out.
Rogan out?
He said,
I saw that.
He said, I'm a flat earther. Like,
Yeah, let's debate.
because Joe, see, I'm big in, I've spent a lot of time
Joe goes
watching.
hard on them, though.
Well, dude, Joe,
I'm sorry,
Joe was
my
the
bad.
original, dude. Joe is the one that when Joe started, he was like, you're just indoctrinated if you think we landed on the moon. He was literally the moon landing guy. And then he got that Spotify contract. Like, he started making a lot of money.
He did change over the years.
He had the biggest podcast in the world, and all of a sudden, he's violently opposed to it, basically. but the guy I like, Eric Dubay.
Yeah.
Joe knows who he is. He brings him up like every month, it seems, but he won't have him on to debate. And Dubay's he's just like, dude, let me come debate you then if you're going to talk all this shit all the time.
Who's the dude every time I'm
Eddie Bravo.
I'm scrolling through it.
It's Eddie
You're
Bravo.
exactly right, because Joe makes him look so stupid.
He was on like a month ago, and he was like, "Eddie, you're an idiot. Stop bringing it up."
That was actually a good podcast.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Eddie's great,
All right,
dude.
well,
Eddie's-
let's skip over that because we do
awesome.
only have a short amount of time left.
Well, let's wrap it up. I got one question
Yeah, but it's fine. That was
for
that was
everybody.
interesting.
One
It's hard-
question for everybody.
Yeah.
And the question is, what would make you change sides? Wes, what would make you think that the Earth is flat?
So I guess I get lost in it a little bit because I do believe that space is real. So if you're saying to believe in flat Earth, you have to almost not believe in space, then it's just too far fetched for me. You can see the stars. You can literally see the
but
stars
he's
above
saying
you.
that
Look at them through a telescope, and you'll see that they're nothing like the images that NASA's giving you. The images NASA admits are computer-generated images. So
That part is true.
So you're saying it's far-fetched, but you're not believing your own eyes. You're believing
Are you talking about the deep space photos that they colorize?
pictures of anything, pictures of our Earth, pictures of planets, pictures of stars, any picture they give you.
Sometimes they colorize gases
You know
so
that
you can know what gases
their
you're looking
biggest,
at.
best telescope is named Lucifer. Did you know that?
I don't know if that's
The
true.
Vatican's
Can't
biggest,
say.
best. Look it up. The Vatican's biggest, best telescope. It's named Lucifer.
The Vatican has a
Again,
telescope.
so you would never. What if you found out space was fake?
here's
So
my-
that's what it would take. Space is not big. And you-
Space to me is you can see it. I can see it now. If you're saying that it's all, I don't want to say fabricated. Like, what is making those lights in the air?
So they say that what a lot of people think is there's a whole nother water body up above that thing. Like,
I believe that.
that's what they. So
believe
the
that?
Bible talks about the
Well,
waters
I
above
do,
separating
but
the
that's
waters from
above the stars.
Saying a
Right.
firmament.
So basically,
No,
there's a
firmament
dome
is
above
ours.
us, is what a lot
It's
of
an
people
ice
think.
dome.
Not like it's some type of dome.
That's what the Bible
like,
says. Yeah, it's
some
like
type of dome with water over top of it. Like there's videos of a guy in the ocean in like those submarine things. He's at the bottom of the ocean, right? And he's like, I thought I was at the ground. And he's like, I'm looking through like this glass bottom, and he's like, there's water underneath of it. And that sounds wild, right? I said that. I was like, I probably shouldn't have brought that up.
That was great.
Anyway, so some people think there's a firmament above us. The Bible talks about it. There's videos of people with amateur rockets.
the Bible talks about the firmament breaking down in Genesis and attributing to the flood
letting
as
the
well.
flood,
that
letting
was-
the waters
of the
from
deep
above
and the
come
waters
down
from
and flood
above.
us,
Yes.
right. So what I'm saying about, like, you're saying you can look up and see, and you know those planets are there and stuff.
Yeah.
And what I'm telling you is, so you know how in your mind you're thinking of Mars. It's got like that weird battle scar on it.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
If you were to look at a picture of Mars that you could pull up, you'll see like a wild scar on it, and they call Mars the god of war and the red god of war, and so they have this whole look to it, right?
Yeah.
But if you look through a telescope at Mars, it's there. but it is not that. It's like a flickering, like weird.
It does have a red glow. You can see that
It
from
looks
afar.
like, you know how it looks like when you're looking at your spotlight in a pool underwater, and like you see the water like flickering. It looks like that. All the stars look like.
You know why they flicker? Okay, so when you're
burning, right?
When you're actually in space, they don't flicker. You can barely even see them; they're dark. But it's because of the atmosphere it's because of that, like why you would see a rainbow. It's kind of like a
vapor. It's almost like a vapor.
The vapor kind of makes them twinkle. They don't really twinkle though.
I guess my fan is we're either in the Truman Show or it's real. So I guess that's the way I look at it. And
I love the idea, the idea of it. And
if I was living in the woods by myself with my family, and you guys were there, and we had a little tribe, and we were just, we were just cooking deer that we killed and whatever, I would have no use for a round or a flat Earth. It wouldn't matter to me at all. I would just be living my life.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? The river does what it does. The water's over there.
The lie. The point is that they're
exactly. So you're more on the lie. That's what I was getting at. That's what I'm getting at.
They're manipulating you in order to steal
from you. So for you, it could be.
That's not the best way to live your life.
Could it be another shape than flat though? Maybe they're lying.
No, water is always
because
level.
he's talking about level.
Okay.
Jake,
my point was they are lying.
So imagine looking at a pool. Could you ever imagine seeing a pool and the water has like an arch to it? That doesn't exist in nature. That doesn't exist in physics. It's always going to find its level because the natural property of water is to find its level. So that means that if the Earth is a giant container for water, water is level. It's level. It's a level plane.
What if it's just the way it is?
It's really one of the simple. Once it just clicks, it's really one of the simplest things to accept.
I've thought about it. There's very convincing arguments. I've seen it. I've seen the very convincing arguments. I'm like, that's a good argument.
And the only reason it's like a lot of people talk about like the world going down an evil path and stuff, and they don't like that, and they want to try to understand why we're at that point, and they want to fix that, but they're so hard-headed when it comes to this, and they just can't see that like this is the big one. They've tricked. You don't even know where the fuck you're at, man. Because they have control of your mind. It's brainwashing, and it leads to what you're saying.
You did that.
It leads to materialism.
So
it leads to everybody.
I feel like that helps drive.
They want everybody
decision.
on a tax farm just worried about looking better than everybody else and buying their shit. That's what they want.
So space would have to be real,
debunked.
fake. Okay,
that'd be debunked.
Charlie, what would make you switch back over?
I don't think that's possible.
No, the question is, what would make? Well, what if you?
That's why
went
you don't
to
really
space,
argue.
Would you have to go to space yourself?
Watch, I can drop my ass out of there. No, I'm going to space. There's no space.
Brent,
I tell you what, you go to the IS. They say they go to the ISS pretty often, right?
I think so.
Well, they're there now.
Go to Walmart, buy a GoPro, put it on your head, then go do it. You do it all the time.
Guy did
anyways.
that last year. He tried to do it. He shot himself into space, and I think he might have died.
He did.
Did he die?
The homemade Rocketeer guy?
Yeah. Who was literally trying to do that.
That was crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was a flat earther.
Yeah, I know. He was trying to go up there and show everybody.
He died.
What was he trying to show everybody?
That was flat.
What if
there is no bend?
Why did he have to go?
What if
It was his life's thing.
Yeah,
What if
he
a
would
government
use-
official literally came out and was like, "Look,
Yeah, we got
you
rigged
guys
this
been lied
rocket.
to. It's flat."
I don't
Are you
trust
gonna
the
believe
government.
that?
He's
like,
that thing, man, because he had publicity and it was for the flat Earth, so they probably go
Kyrie?
make it blow up.
yeah, right.
So
I respect Kyrie, but
for me, the space thing is like the easiest thing to just. I don't really, because I'm never gonna go. That's the easiest.
He doesn't care about space, right?
So that's the easiest thing for me to go. I kind of agree with Charlie. Maybe it's not there.
Brent's gonna be a flat earther after this.
real soon.
But for me, I would need to be, and it might take the rest of my life to do. If I were to like start right now, I would need to be on a boat and fucking map the ice wall. I'd have to do it.
All right, Magellan.
You can map the ice wall,
north,
dummy.
east, southwest, wherever you could go any which way as far
Right.
as you want. You're always going to run into a
Right, but it's a
wall of
giant
ice.
circle, though,
Yeah,
right?
'cause you're gonna be
they're
going
not
around
and,
it.
and anybody that we don't know what's further than that because they have such a these countries can't agree to shit with nothing, but they can all agree that they don't want you going to that place.
Right, because you're saying
Because who knows what's beyond there? We don't know.
In the center.
Is the
The
ice
whole,
wall.
the
Is
whole.
the
Oh no,
outside-
the Arctic. Sorry, the Arctic is the center.
The Arctic contains
The
everything.
Antarctic is
You got to
Yes,
read Shackleton's way. He went there.
right. So
That's a
I
crazy
saw the
story.
picture of the ice wall, like a few of them. That it's like
It's like Game of Thrones.
right.
Game of Thrones literally Game of Thrones. They throw this shit in your face. Man.
It is a good idea.
Laughing at us.
But other than $25 billion in tax money, which it's a lot.
America's not the only country on earth, though.
You're right. You're right.
Damn,
I
dude, I
just
keep
don't.
forgetting your son's asleep.
Space race.
I just
He's
don't.
2 floors up.
I just don't see the overall arching reason to lie, other than we can.
So he explained the reason, and it's to take your mind from you and basically control you
Right.
and entertain you with
Yeah,
football
that's
every
what-
Sunday.
that's the
and
main point.
Basketball every Tuesday and whatever,
Right.
and kids sports
And your
nonstop
money,
and
man. They
drinking
took
and
25 billion like 2 years ago. Who knows what they're taking this year? They just created, and this is where it's heading. I'm gonna tell you where it's heading with the whole Space Force thing. They gotta have it's a branch of the military, right? What does the military need? It needs enemies to battle with, right?
Sure.
They say space is the new frontier. I love that Red Hot Chili Pepper song. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. That's a great lyric. But it is. It's the new final frontier. I'm just worried that they're going to give us some, they always give us these crazy events and then they take all our rights from us. Like with 9/11, with COVID, they pull this crazy shit and then they say, oh, we got to protect you from this crazy shit that just happened.
Yeah.
And then they
So
start
here's the Patriot
tightening.
Act.
They start tightening.
Yeah,
they
we'll
start
protect you
tightening the
real
noose.
good.
Well, what would happen is say, oh, okay, there's this outer space. They keep talking about aliens, right? They're really pushing that alien agenda.
True.
All they got to do is fake an alien invasion, and then now they can siphon all of that money forever because they got to
I
defend
was
you
always
from it.
taught growing up by some of the cooler Baptist people. We believe in a rapture, right? That the Christians are going to be taken away from the earth before, things get really bad. You guys heard of the rapture?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know what the rapture
Yes.
is.
So the government has to have an answer for that. Like when that happens, what are they going to tell everyone? And the answer was always, oh, that's what aliens for. They made aliens for that.
Well, what they had to
Today.
make space, right? You can't have Neil Armstrong. I think who is it?
John Glenn.
No, who was the first guy on the moon? Neil Armstrong, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that spell alien backwards? Neil.
Neil arm.
I mean,
Yeah.
isn't he a Mason?
That's pretty cool,
Isn't
actually.
every astronaut in recorded history a Mason?
I don't know. I read
Yeah.
that book is fantastic. The Right Stuff. And it's about the first astronauts. And some of them were...
Say how pissed John Glenn was about everything forever.
He was the only Marine on the group. The rest of them were either Air Force or Navy pilots, and a lot of them came right through here. They lived right in Town Creek doing test pilot school. It's really cool. Anyway, for me, what would I need to change? I don't know. I believe God made it the way that we perceive it, and I do believe that the way it's just been explained to me is the actual most. I think it makes the most sense to me, given my engineering background, things like that. It does make sense. I would need what I need, Mike.
Jake, as an engineer, I would like for you to reach out to the people that build bridges, to the people that build railroads, and ask them.
We were always told the Great Wall of China goes over the curvature of the Earth. I was always told that. Is that true? I don't know. I have no idea. It doesn't really make sense because it goes over hills. And
Every mile it should curve 8 inches. That's if you can look this. They have.
I have looked that up. That math's a little off, but.
But then again, if the Earth is not necessarily a
what is
circle,
it then?
I think it's going to be.
I don't know. It's a little bit. That's like a parabola, right? But it's actually a little bit more. It makes honestly. I'm fully in agreement with everything you said about the government trying to control us. All that stuff, and people taking your minds and your kids and everyone. They just want you paying the money for these elites that go and do it, and the Masonic people. This one is the one thing that. It's like a bridge too far, I guess. Right now, for me, I've looked at it. I have family members that are into it. I've had this conversation before as well, many times actually. I have very close family members that are.
Seems like everybody's wanting to talk about it more and more. I would never come on here and do this, but it just seems like I said, Bryce Mitchell called out Joe Rogan today. He's like, Joe.
Well, the people that are flat earthers, is that what you call yourself?
Earthers.
Yes.
are very passionate. So generally speaking, it comes up, and it's a good topic for discussion. It does make for a good conversation. When I think so. I don't know. I believe God hung the earth right where it sits, and whether it's flat or round, I guess it doesn't really matter to me, other than the fact that if I'm getting lied to, I would be very pissed off. I guess I don't have an answer to my question. What it would take?
It's taking
your
some.
question.
All right, Mike. What do you?
What could prove it? What would make you change your mind?
What would prove it?
Change your mind. What would change your mind? That's what
I
you
guess
asked.
I'd have to see the ice walls, and I have to see underneath. What the hell's going on down there?
Underneath what?
In the earth.
The disc.
Underneath what? What's underneath the disc?
Yeah.
They've tried to dig. They've only been able to get like 8 miles down.
Oh, I don't even know if we can get that far.
But where? Okay, so where does lava come from? If you don't believe how it goes that deep.
Well, maybe it's a half full.
No, it's not that it's not deep. Like
What's
it can
on
still
the
be
bottom?
deep.
No, because
the dirt. I mean, you can still dig
flat
down real
earthers
deep.
believe that it doesn't have a core. There's no like magma. There's no. It just goes only a certain.
We don't. We're,
miles,
we're
right?
not saying we know anything about the core. What's under? Like all we're saying is, if you measure the horizon, it's level. If you look at
I need to see
if you
the other
look at
side.
Water, it's level.
I want to see someone go
We don't-
around.
What's on the bottom, dude?
At
on
the
flat
bottom. That's
Earth?
what I'm saying. I want to see what's on the bottom. Is
Well,
it like
who
roots?
does it? What do you mean? That's gonna change
This
your
is
mind? That changed everyone's mind.
Yeah, nobody.
Duh,
that's
what
not
I need to
possible.
see.
That's not possible.
I know.
Why not? If you go
They've
over the
tried-
ice wall and
the
around.
biggest- they've tried in Russia, and it's like the deepest they've ever been able to dig.
No,
in
I'm not
the
saying
earth.
dig. I'm saying go around the
Up and around.
edge.
Up and
Oh,
go
you
over the
can't though
wall.
because they won't let you.
I need to see that to be
So
convinced.
just go talk to your government.
You got a job down there.
I will
They
say
will
this.
turn you away
There
at
is
gunpoint.
the classic philosophical argument of what is the earth sitting on, and it's sitting on a turtle. And they say, well, what's that turtle sitting on? It's turtles all the way down.
But see, you're
Sturgill Simpson- Sturgill Simpson
your
has
whole
a
thing is
whole-
everything has to be explained. Like I'm telling,
Yeah.
I'm explaining something scientifically to you
Yeah.
in density, and you're saying, well, there's got to be an
Well,
explanation
density.
for
The
why
reason
is
density works.
And-
The reason it works. That is because there is an outside force acting on it. That's the only reason
It's
it
your
works.
weight. If
That's why if
gravity
you drop a
acted
ball-
like they
there's no
said
such
it
thing
did,
as
you would
weight
be
unless
stuck to the ground like a magnet.
But there's
dude.
no-
You
there's-
wouldn't be able
there's
to
no-
separate your foot from it.
There's no such thing as weight without a force. Weight is just like I weigh 180 pounds. That means nothing
Yes, it means
unless
it
there's
means that
another force.
you're denser than the air around you. You're 180 pounds. If you were less dense than the air around you, you would be floating. I get you're saying why. Why does that happen? There's got to be a reason that that's happening.
Yes.
Well, the reason you can lift your legs off the ground is because your body builds muscle to be able to do that.
Yeah, but
so it can
gravity's strong
resist.
enough to
I'm
hold
saying
the ocean
all
to
of
the
that
floor,
information
right? It's holding all that
encapsulated
water
is
to the
called
ground,
gravity.
right?
Yeah.
It's holding thousands and thousands of pounds of water to the ground.
Well, it's
It
milli-
weighs more. Yeah. It's holding itself down.
Right. It's holding the waters of the earth to the
Yeah,
ground.
because it's heavy. Because it's a shit ton of water.
right.
It's not necessarily like gravity's doing that. It's kind of a reaction all together, working
It's
together.
it's the buoyancy of the water, exactly.
Right.
But so it's strong enough. It's strong enough to hold the ocean to ground, but it's light enough for a feather to fly. It's a magical. So a feather.
It is.
I agree. It is
can't-
magic.
It can't hold a feather to the ground, but it can hold the water to
The
the
feather
ground.
will come to the ground eventually.
But
resistance.
The feather's not as dense as a giant
It has
body of water.
It has a ton of wind resistance. What are you saying?
people always say like a balloon, like a balloon that rises to the ceiling, right? And it gets stuck in the ceiling,
Yeah.
and it stays up there for like a month.
Yeah.
People are like, and then eventually it comes back down. They're like, see, gravity brought it back down, right?
Because it
the
lost
lack of
it.
helium brought
The
it.
helium
Yes.
escaped and it became denser
Yeah.
than the air around it and sank. Gravity didn't just decide, oh, now it's time. Now I don't want it to be up there. I'm gonna pull it down now. That's not what happened.
Yeah. No, it doesn't decide things like that. It's just
What would it take for you, Mike? I'm looking at the bottom.
it would just take so much.
I thought you thought about it. I told you.
No, I know, but I think NASA deserves the money it gets because of all these cool inventions like infrared, camera phone, LEDs, solar cells, all this shit that comes out of it. And a lot of time by accident.
That's a lot of money for those little
Well,
things.
I mean, it keeps going. I didn't want to
Well, I mean,
foil.
those little infrared.
But there's
has
just
done a lot
stuff
more
that comes
than
from
just-
people studying, people doing tests
Yeah,
over and over.
If you have
peer
enough
reviewing.
money, people should study stuff. I agree.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's
go
just,
study something.
So for someone for my mind to be changed, yeah, I mean, I'd have to see a photo. At least people have photos of the Earth. They don't have photos of a flat one. Like
But the photos they have of the Earth
I know,
aren't
they're
real
co-
photos.
they're put together
No, they're
because-
CGI.
because it can't-
that's a good point.
you can't go that far away from the Earth's orbit. So
Okay,
yeah, it's going to be
once
tight.
again, we have to believe you. That once again.
Oh, I mean, we have to
once
believe
again,
you, flat Earthers. It's the same thing.
Yeah, how come
you
there
don't
isn't a
have
good
to
picture?
believe that water will always be level.
You can't get far enough away from the Earth to take a picture of it unless
Hold on,
you go to the moon.
hold on, but
Let's go to the moon.
But do you think that there's any chance what I'm saying is not correct? That water, like if you took water and put it into a container, do you think you could ever get it to not be level? After letting it set,
What
after
is
That's
your?
what it does.
Yeah, but if you go one more like level into
so
that,
you don't have
one
to
more
believe what
level.
I'm saying.
But you
What
have
I'm
no
saying
idea.
is
But
real.
no. But you would have, so in globe, you would have no idea that you're standing sideways on a globe right now because of how massive it
So
is.
the people
I think what Mike's trying to say is we, not you, but just
What
in
am I trying to
general, we're vastly underestimating how
big
big
it is.
the Earth is.
doesn't matter.
It does matter,
if
though, to a
it's
certain point.
ball, then
It's a ball.
every mile
Sure.
it has to be curvature.
Yeah,
Period.
That
There's
is the
no
one
straight
thing when you
lines in a
fly it,
ball.
it does look
you will
flat. It does
you
look
will
flat.
never ever see a straight line
hold
in
on.
a sphere.
We got to answer this one
the
question
horizon
here.
is always level. You will never see a straight line in a sphere ever.
What'd you say
Doesn't
for-
matter how big it is.
for every mile
is 8 inches.
Squared.
It's more than that, but
I think
it
it's
doesn't
way
matter.
more than a mile.
It does have to curve. When I've been in 35,000 feet up and you look out the window, it does all look flat. When you're in a plane, have you ever seen the curve?
No.
It's true.
That's
That
what
part.
the horizon does. It rises to the
But
eye
I also
level.
think that that's another thing. I think the Earth is also so effing big that a tiny person on a tiny plane might not be able to fathom and or see the horizon.
But how do you not
Curve.
fly straight off of it if you're not tilting the nose down and staying on the ball?
It's just the way that gravity and aerodynamics and all
Well, I
that
mean-
stuff just
I mean-
works. Like there
I mean-
is a reason.
I think autopilot
How?
is a thing.
But you would see planes tilting down. To,
I don't think.
to,
I don't think the tilt is enough to where-
tilt is so egregious that you would notice it.
I think
That's
the
my
Earth
reason.
is so big that the curvature isn't enough to where you need a massive downward nose
I just
tilt.
think
It's just the way that the gravitational pull, whatever pull.
you guys
density,
always have to go back to this magical gravity thing. Man.
because the plane
Always.
it happens
You
though. We
think
see the
that there's
plane.
this magic that it just works.
I
That's
don't.
what y'all
I
are
think
saying.
I think it's insane. NASA doesn't receive enough money to do that much CGI and that much photography.
That's what they do.
It's insane that they would put that much work into a rover that sends a little picture every single second, and it takes 8 minutes
Why
for it
is
to even get
insane
here.
if they're collecting billions of dollars and giving you
It's
little
not enough money
giving
anyways.
you CGI photos back
It's
that they
not
say
even
we're-
enough.
we're
Exactly.
taking-
Why would they do that just to make those photos? That's insane.
It's a black hole of money, man.
Just
It's a
to
they don't
hide
even tell you what they're doing with the
Just
money
to hide
anymore.
a flat Earth for people. Like, why would they do that? That's insane.
No, they're giving you something to look forward to. We're going to Mars. What do you mean?
I don't think
We're
we're
going
ever
to terraform Mars.
We got to protect this thing first, I guess.
I wonder if
Wait, is that a thing? Do we believe in that?
what?
Like the
I don't.
No, we can't get to it. I'm actually gonna lose like one of the cameras. This one right here, this dumb one.
I feel like we need to have Charlie on like once every month just to. Like,
We
find
gotta
something.
pick his brain. It's fun.
I know that I won't be going to bed anytime soon, and that YouTube's going to get wore the fuck out.
You got one, Charlie.
Nah, it's awesome. I think it was a great time. I think you got the hang of it like pretty quickly, and you did really
Yeah.
well, dude.
I
It was
want
fun
to talk
talking to you.
about. I want to talk about a lot of other things. Not right now.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have you back on because it's already been an hour and a half. But I definitely want to talk about a lot of other things that I know
No,
we agree
and
on.
I think
big time.
we proved a point here that's pretty good as well, that we can have a civil conversation
Oh,
about
yeah,
that.
for
Because
sure.
I haven't seen one yet really online. It's pretty crazy.
This one represents fundamental like things about your whole existence, and we disagree. Like I'm still, I'm not. I don't personally believe the Earth is flat as of this moment. However,
I think it's flat a little bit here and there.
we did. What he's saying is true. We did have a good. If you can't believe those two, like that, the Earth you're on is the same like shape or whatever. I don't know that it matters that much at a friendship level, like because There's enough stuff to worry about in life. You know,
Dude.
don't get too banged up over what it is.
I'm happy somebody believes in anything besides like in
And is
some
passionate.
celebrity or social media or something stupid. It was fun.
Like I said, this is the one thing. This is the one thing I haven't yet.
Yeah, that's tricky.
It is tricky.
So we'll wrap it up. Yeah, we got to do
Parting
something with that
words.
Well, Charlie, thank you for coming on. I'm looking at fucking pictures he told me to look at. So, but no, thanks for coming on. It was very
It was fun. Interesting.
and insightful.
Yeah.
And hearing, like, it's cool hearing opposite ends of things that you're just indoctrinated to believe.
It's so easy to just dismiss it right away.
I remember being a kid in like kindergarten, and I was, well, how do the people in Australia? What do you mean they're upside down? You know what? And I just remember the same thing, honey. Gravity, honey. Gravity.
Really don't like that gravity word.
Cause what do you mean? Because I remember, and
I have one more
wasn't
question.
like a flat earth. I remember being a kid, and I'm just like, well, I couldn't get that through my head. If it's a ball,
Right.
and Australia's underneath, like they're standing upside down. I don't
But
get
that's
it.
pretty magical too. Like it's all magical. I
They're
mean,
so small, dude. That's why. But it's not. That's why bacteria doesn't just fall off of you.
the fact
But
that we're
anyways,
here in general is all magical. You know what I mean? Like if it was a flat Earth, there's still wild stuff.
Why do-
Planes are still flying. Like lava's still spurting out of the volcanoes. Like
Splurt.
stuff is
Yeah, like
crazy
everything
stuff
that
still
you see,
happening.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. Like it's not like I'm like telling you like things aren't real. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's not what you're just saying. It's not what you think it
Accept
is.
gravity.
it ain't what you've been taught since grade school,
yeah,
man.
exactly.
I can tell you that much.
Why do toilets in Australia flush the other way?
That's
Yes,
bullshit. Yeah,
that's
they
real.
said that's like
I've seen it
it's
on videos
part
on
of-
YouTube.
People would say that people would use that as proof the Earth
I
is a
would also-
ball or whatever.
Well, that's why I asked.
That's just the way the toilet. That's a myth, man. The way the toilet's made, different manufacturers.
I
That's
don't know the answer to this, but I would like to know the answer to like eclipses, and then I would also know the answer to like why the moon has phases, because the Earth's literally blocking the sun's light reaching it to make it a full moon.
That's a good question.
So you can look up on Google. There's actually been photos
Yeah,
taken
that's
of
what I'm asking you.
stars being seen through the moon. So like the moon being there, but you
Yeah.
can see a star through it. Actually, I think there's a country that has it on their flag, like
Really?
the moon with the star through
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
in China.
It's been
Is it China?
recorded
Tunisia.
like by the royal astronomers forever that you can see stars through the moon. The moon
forgot
is
they brought that up.
transparent. It's translucent. It's not something that you can land a mason on, like to walk around.
Mason, that's
It's
so
not.
funny.
It doesn't work like that. It's a light. That's why I'm not like a Bible pusher,
Aren't
but
Freemasons like rooted in religion though? Originally,
they
my grandfather was a Mason.
Dude, a lot of flags have.
I don't know what that means.
crescent moons and
no,
stars on them.
most of them are great.
Tunisia,
Yeah.
Turkey,
Yeah.
China.
The local lodges are great. Like most
Weren't most of the early presidents Masons?
just about all of them are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a fraternity. Like the local ones, they're not like up to it's mostly good people.
Yeah,
It's
just like the
it's just the
Knights of
higher you
Columbus
get,
or whatever.
The more money there
Yeah.
is, the more control there is.
I mean, yeah, power.
We got to get you on and get Rick in too, maybe. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah,
This would be Rick's wet dream. Rick
Well,
Mattingly.
yeah,
For the rest of the stuff.
yeah. The
know,
other
the
stuff.
flat
Don't
Earth
do
is
that.
tough.
The flat Earth is tricky. Like you can't. Certain people just can't handle a conversation about it.
No, it brings hatred out in a lot of people.
Big time.
Which
It's
is
annoying.
ridiculous.
Why is it like why? Why is it the most ridiculed subject you can bring up?
I mean, there's a lot
How
of others.
come?
We can
It's the
find-
most studied. That's
Flat
why.
Earth is
Yeah.
one of the most. It's one of the most. People get
That's true.
furious. Why? How come?
because it's like it's so they think it's so in the past. Like that's
Yeah,
probably
like
why.
it's settled science.
Like, come on,
You know,
let's
that's
move forward. But I don't know.
People have
It
been
was-
told that you
Well,
gotta
well-
ridicule that people that say that.
that is true. I mean, and Joe Rogan's right.
We didn't
right at
ridicule
the
you
top.
too
I
bad.
like Rogan.
Yeah,
He's at the top of the list with the flat Earth hate.
he's so mean about it.
His
Like,
swelling
Traitor,
bigger than Barry
dude.
Bonds, by the way.
he's a traitor.
Dude, he was
Dude,
like he was the
whatever
guy
he's putting in his
that
body,
was,
his
like,
head is
pushing it, and
huge.
then all
He's
of a
also into
sudden,
He was also into Bigfoot and UFOs and
yeah,
everything
he did
else.
do
Oh, he
shows like
still
that.
is.
no, he got out of that too.
UFOs, he's definitely.
He's still in the
Oh
UFOs.
no. I meant like Sasquatch and Bigfoot. I mean, not Sasquatch.
What did
thing.
Mitch Hedberg said? He said, "What if Bigfoot is just blurry?" I think that's what he looks like.
Hedberg was the man.
Any parting words, Charlie?
It wasn't as bad as you thought, right?
No, it's cool. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew you were probably. Everyone's always a little nervous like that for the first time. At
Yeah,
least.
it's definitely
Like in the beginning, you felt a little like whoa, right? And
Yeah,
you
for
just-
sure.
Yeah,
You're a natural,
yeah, you did fine. No porno here.
Wesley.
Didn't think it looked. Thought it looked like. A
Honestly, bro, those lights are super important. I promise.
Okay.
Because your face would be dim. It has to be there. It has to be weird. So you did fine.
It's
Jake-
not weird. I just never seen one before. I'm not familiar.
It took me 6 months to get used to them, dude.
I'm
Yeah, 'cause
happy where I'm at.
You
'cause
wouldn't
I
believe
can't
how
see those
dark it would be in
lights.
here. You wouldn't be able to see your guys' faces and stuff. So, anyways, thank you guys for listening. Give it up for Charlie, and everyone have a good day. Later.
Peace.